I'm back, Jack. Anybody? Nope. Okay. Wait, let me check and see if I'm actually on. Hello, who's here? Where's my? Do I have the chat on? I can't tell. Oh, he's gone already. Haha. um, well, anyway, hi everybody. I'm here. Kind of fooling around with this idea of going live again. I don't see. Wait, okay, I see one watching. Hey, how you doing? Can you put something in the chat? I don't know if I even have my chat active. Uh, Yo, all right. I did not see that on this screen. There it is. Hey, Gary, what's up? How things going in the UK? Oh man, I am freezing here, man. It's snowing outside. It's crazy right now. I missed you last night. Yeah, you know what? Yesterday's stream was a complete. I just wanted to test my equipment to see if I could do it. Yes, very cold and damp. Like American Wolf in London. It's a cold and a wet out here. Yeah, it's very cold, very wet right here. You guys are, I don't know, in the UK you got the same basic kind of weather we do, right? You got no snow though. Good. Yeah, I mean, literally, I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing this flakes falling, and it's been nasty this morning because it's been a mix of snow and rain, so it's just nonstop craziness. Um, but anyway, yeah, like I was saying with yesterday's stream was just kind of a last minute thing. I just wanted to test my equipment, and then it worked, so I just kept it going, and before I knew it, I'd been on for 4 hours. Yuck, very yucky. I slipped in the mud this morning. I was wearing stupid flip flops, so it all got in my feet. Were soaking wet and just covered in garbage. It was not fun. Uh, let's see. I don't know why. For some reason, every time I look at myself on here, my mustache just doesn't look right to me. Like it looks to me like there's a bald spot right here, but I mean, there's hair. You can see it. I don't. It's weird. Uh, I don't know. I need to shave. I tried handlebars once, but then I got a bald spot here, and that doesn't help. Um, let's see. All right. Oh, UAAR. You are. Um, hey, two bitches in a box truck. What's up? Yeah, nothing wrong with UAAR. It almost looks like USSR. um, So it looks like we're starting to get a few people in here. Two bitches in a box truck. Yes, AU. Yep. Uh, RX Sid. Let's see. My beard would be totally great. I'm starting to get more and more, a little bit. If I'm gonna turn gray, then I want to like do it to where I could like play Santa Claus when I get older, that kind of thing. Um, so let's see. Two bitches in a box. Hello, hi. So one thing I want to say, I mean, there's only a few people in here right now, so I'll probably repeat it a couple times during the broadcast today. But one of the things that I told you guys yesterday's stream, I mentioned a website that I think is a great source for us, but I couldn't remember the name of it. And I said I was going to look it up and I was going to tell you guys today, so I figured it out. It was a YouTube channel called, like the expression, I had a bit too much to drink. It's a bit too much to think. Again, the channel isn't active. It hasn't been active for over a year. There's only a small amount of videos on it. But there's a series of 12 videos on there that are all about sovereign citizens. And he breaks down like the specific laws and regulations, but he does it in an entertaining way. Is my house still under construction? That's why I'm here. Okay, so last night They didn't leave until after midnight, and then this morning they showed up at 6:45. A bit too much to think. Yes, that's the name of the YouTube channel. I highly recommend it. I was actually working earlier on trying to figure out how to share some of his videos on here, but I just kept getting that thing that you see sometimes where you have like infinity of your screen capture on the screen. I could get it to that point, but I couldn't get that to play anything other than me. So I still got to work on that. But again, I mean, I don't know why there hasn't been any activity on his channel for over a year, but he breaks the stuff down. He breaks it down to the law, and he uses examples from actual case law, and he actually uses Black's Law Dictionary and all that. But what's cool is he does it in an entertaining way. I don't know if you guys are familiar at all with Sam Onilla. He's a guy, he's another one whose channel isn't active right now, but his videos were very entertaining. It's the same type of sense of humor that this guy uses. So I recommend that. My next video I'm working on is going to have some clips from him in it. So anyway, there's that. Do I have... I don't know, just getting my day started. So anyway, yes, I'm still under construction. They're in there working on it right now, which is, again, why I'm out here. And just like yesterday, I figured, well, since I'm here anyway, might as well do it. Told you guys I'd be back, so here I am. Not trying to step on any other streamers' toes, so I figured I'd go early. I know Hank's Corner usually does Sunday afternoons. In fact, he's had me on as a guest a couple times. And then obviously Schrodinger's going to go tonight. So I figured I'll do something in the morning. So how you guys all feeling today so far? Sunday morning, November, cold outside. Boo. I was watching some stuff last night. They had the Silence Boy clip where he was messing with the cops on horseback, and actually the cops ended up messing with him. I thought that was great. It's Lavender Mexican. Hello, welcome. Anyway, yeah, there's something about, like, yeah, all of these guys are so annoying, but there's something about Silence Boy in particular. Well, something about, you guys know if you've seen his stuff. He's just beyond contemptible. He's absolutely horrid human being. Ugh. Just thinking about him makes me want to punch him in the face. Let's see. So, that's sweet. I love you guys. This is always fun hanging out. So far. Greetings from Germany, Dr. Engelmacher. Alright. He's a complete creep, like Glenda. Yeah. Silence Boy's a complete creep, because she wasn't talking about you, Engelmacher. Greetings from Germany. I like Kraftwerk. I actually like their first three albums, where it's more experimental krautrock, as opposed to like later on when they became like straight dance music type almost. But that's really all I know about Germany. That, and obviously what everybody knows, but we don't need to talk about that. Oh, and you know, on a map how to find it. Oh, all right. Well, there you go. That angel maker. Historically, those were people who performed abortions illegally. Yeah, well, that's there you go. It's an interesting fact. I didn't know that. Simon Mitchner's here again. All right, welcome, Simon. And then last night, I think I saw you in a Marvel Girls thing. I think it was. So you're definitely making the rounds. I appreciate that. Um, so for those of you who missed it, I'm not trying to the proverbial bad penny. uh, there's I want to keep boosting this because even though, like I said, it's kind of a dead channel, if you watch this stuff, it's so great what this guy does and how he breaks it down. There's a website called A Bit Too Much to Think, and he only's got like 20 videos on there. He hasn't done anything um, for over a year, but he has like 12 videos on his channel just about the sovereign citizen movement. And the way he breaks it down is fun, entertaining, and he actually goes to the case law and Black's Law Dictionary as a reference and really breaks the stuff down well. So I highly recommend you guys check him out. Um, I love the skull curtain. Oh yeah, that was I don't know if you saw it. I did a Halloween video. Excellent Gary, definitely check him out. So the skull curtain is actually a backdrop that I used. Good morning, Gary. 1111111. That I used in my Halloween video, which was the one where, if you guys didn't see it, it was like the zombie apocalypse, but instead of zombies, it was guys with phones going, "You have no right to privacy in public." And then the only weapon I had against them was copywritten music. So I played like some Metallica, and then I played some other stuff, and then they were attacking me, and then in the last minute I hit the button and it played Thriller, and then I did the Thriller dance in front of the skulls. Um, and then I also used it as my altar when I showed that masks came from Satan, and I had my Satan mask on, and I pulled the masks out of the box and said, "This is, the future, or this is the end of humanity," or something like that, and because the anti-maskers went so crazy about that. So um, on Halloween, I drank a bottle of wine and played around with my kitty. Um, I I don't have a cat. I'm allergic. Good morning, LaDonna. Um, but I did drink a bottle of wine. Um, that was after the kids were done trick or treating and everything. Um, and then I played with my dog, and that's not a euphemism. I actually have a dog, but I have to call her a dog because I can't call her a dog, because a dog is like this big animal that you wrestle with and pick them up, pet them, and paws in your face, and I love it. But we have a little dog. My daughter picked it up. It's just a little thing. It's like a rat. I can pick it up with one hand and juggle it. I don't juggle it, but I can if I want to. My box truck has a lining like that up in the storage area. Made it myself. Nice. Very nice. Let's see. Yeah, see, that's why I caught you, because I knew you were in here, Simon. Because you ask me that like, all the time. So anyway, yeah, there's that. Second time I've seen you live in 24 hours. It's 2 a.m. in Australia. Holy crap and a hammer. Well, like I was saying a little bit earlier, the construction crew that was working on my house, which kind of was the whole reason I came out here and did this yesterday, because I had nothing else going on. They finished last night at midnight. So they left. I went to sleep. Then when I woke up, 6:45 this morning, they came back, and now they're working on the house again. So I came out here and I'm just doing this. It's a palindrome. TBAATB. Oh yeah, it is. It is. Sam, I am Sam, and I do like green eggs and ham. Green eggs and Hamlet. Dost thou like green eggs and ham? I dost not like them, Sam, I am. Who was that a reference to? Anybody know who said that joke? No? Is this your chillin' shack? It's basically my, well, I call it my studio, because I pretty much do all my music and all my videos in here. I got my little green screen back there, which is basically just a stupid little, not a shower curtain, like a dollar store tablecloth that's green. Um, I wish I had bacon. In his underroom. But anyway, yeah, it's my garage. That's what it is. It's just the garage, and I'm hanging out here because I can't really go in the house. Oh, it's the murder room. Oh, okay. Hey, the bodies are in the. Don't worry about that one. Here's a funny story. This is an interesting story, actually. Um, I went in there once. The neighbors showed me. It's amazing. So not my house, but hello JMC, but the house right next door to me, my next door neighbors. Um, they found, and like I said, they showed it to us once, and we went in there. It was amazing to me. Um, they had a secret room in the back of the house that they found one day, like a door that was like sealed off that they could tell like didn't go anywhere, and they didn't know what it was. So they cut it open, and they went in there, and there is a tunnel. Wait a minute, I heard somebody say the Bears. Seriously, bring the wife. We'll go to the stadium and watch the Bears stomp the Vikings like they always do. The Bears are the greatest team in the history of football. I don't care what anybody says. The Bears are my favorite team. I love the Bears, Walter Payton, all those guys. Anyway, so the neighbors, they found this secret room, and it leads to a tunnel. And it turns out that during Prohibition, they were smuggling booze through what is now my neighbor's house, which back then was a speakeasy. They would get the stuff from Canada to here, and then underground the tunnel leads all the way, like 6 miles, to the city. So they could go underground from their house. I mean, the tunnel since then, that was way, way back. Since then, it's like collapsed in, so you can't get all the way through without it being way too dangerous to do it. But the tunnel leads all the way to town underground, and it's still there. What's left of it that hasn't collapsed in. But that was really interesting. Let's see, Dicka is the GOAT. The coach, Mike Dicka. That's one of the things that's great about him. I said this in one of my Bears videos a couple years ago. If the Bears are ever losing, what could happen is that the ghost of Dicka could come down and help them win the game. And I know Mike Dicka's not dead, but he's that good. That was my old joke about Mike Dicka. Handy for commuting. Al Capone actually has a cell house on his property where he'd keep people before, yeah. I thought the GOAT was that's Black Phillip. Who knows what that's a reference to? Anyone? No. All right. No, the GOAT. I got a hat like yours. Sam, you have a Perry the Platypus hat? That is awesome. We're not here to start no trouble. We're just here to do the Super Bowl shuffle. We are the Bears Shuffling Crew, shuffling on down, doing it for you. I'm still finding treasures at my house. 1887. That's awesome. That's awesome. Where I'm at now was built in the 1930s, I think. And it used to be a shop. And that's one of the reasons they're remodeling it, because it's not really a house. It's like a storefront that was converted, and you could see like where all the old doors and windows used to be. A skull curtain and the platypus head make you look like the perfect mix of a dad and a nerd. You just defined my entire life. I'm a nerd. No, I'm not a nad. Like Beavis for Halloween, he just wears underwear on his head. What are you supposed to be? I'm a nad. First house built in the town I'm in. That's awesome. That is awesome. Oh, man. See, now I'm going back to this nerd thing. I think I'm going to start using that. I'm a dad and a nerd, because that is exactly what I am. Love the old houses. Yeah, if money was no object, I would get a Victorian on a huge piece of land, because I love houses with curves. There's just something about that. I love it. A house with curves, man. Now if I was, stupid rich, I might even buy a castle, but The apartment block where I live was built after the Iron Curtain fell. That's great. Oh yeah, because you're in Germany. Yeah, it's new stuff. I don't trust new stuff. JMC, lots of videos on my channel about my house. Maybe I'll check those out. But anyway, yeah, new houses I don't really trust too much because most of them aren't made out of brick, and we don't get a lot of hurricanes and stuff, or tornadoes, whatever, but hurricanes. We don't get a lot of tornadoes or that kind of stuff out here, but when we do, I always feel like the brick houses might still be around, but all the new ones, they're all just stucco and wood, or they're gonna be gone, just done. So I don't really trust anything built after 1963. Grandma had a Victorian with stairs for the help. Aunt fell down them and broke her neck. Oh well. Yeah, that went left quick. That's the perfect description of your own comment. Sorry about that. Oh my God. My grandma's house was a stop on the Underground Railroad. A lot of those houses are historic now. You can't even, I mean, once they make a spot a historic house, you can't tear it down or whatever. It's protected by the government. That's awesome. See, there were a lot of people doing a lot of good back then. And there were a lot of people doing a lot of bad too. I saw Django. So, wait a minute. I forgot what I just remembered. You can't develop around it or tear it down. That's it. That was the rule. Yep. My house has a ghost. The original owner passed away in the house. All right. See, my wife keeps trying to tell me that our house is haunted. I have my own theory on what ghosts actually are. I've never seen one, so I don't know, man. I think it's a combination of like, because there's the argument that, because whenever there's a ghost around, ghost hunters, whatever, experts, paranormalists, when they, hold on. When it comes to historical points in my small city, we have a leaning tower in Soviet soldiers' graveyard from World War II, and the last German victory was won in my city. That's pretty cool. See, I like learning stuff. So I love history. I love going back. The house is haunted. She has no explanation of why all the cookies get eaten. Okay, your wife only thinks that it's haunted because I love that, Simon. That's beautiful. Ghosts in the house are great. They had one when I was a kid. I think only children could really see them. I think it has to do with the electromagnetic fields, the naturally occurring magnetic fields of the planet. And because the ghost hunters or whatever experts will always measure the magnetic fields and see that they're higher where there are ghosts. So then the question is, are the ghosts causing them to go up, or are the fact that they're going up hitting people's brains and making them think they're seeing something? I don't know. It's not up to me until I've seen one. And that's one of the things about ghosts that I've always felt like, on one side, I would love to see one so that I would actually know that they're actually there. On the other hand, I don't want to deal with that. Catholic priests say there are spirits. Well, yeah, the Holy Spirit, all that, that's all part of it. The EMF meter's out. Here we go. Electromagnetic fields, exactly. There's that, and then there's a semitone. I don't remember how many hertz it is exactly. All right, Sam, I am. There's a semitone that's like a bass tone that the human ear cannot hear, but you know how like you could feel bass, right? And it's loud, you feel it in your chest. So if they play this specific tone, again, I don't remember what it is, like 2 hertz or what, or 0.5, I don't remember. But anyway, if you play this tone really loud to where you could feel it, but the human ear can't hear it, it makes you feel uncomfortable. It makes people feel ill. It makes people feel like there's other people standing behind them watching them. So if you get a combination of a natural occurring, whatever, a natural occurrence of that specific megahertz or hertz, that tone, and electromagnetic fields at the same time, you're going to think that your house is haunted. Um, yes, that noise that scares the crap out of people. Exactly. They've done studies on it, and it just makes people feel uncomfortable or sick or just. So I think there's a little bit of all that going on. I got talking about ghosts. All right, so here's the probably the best ghost story I have, which isn't really a ghost story, but that's how it started. So I grew up in Chicago, and in Chicago, the most have I ever drank beer from out of my country? Um, where have I? I mean, does does Guinness count? Like I've never like imported from Germany. Like they got the Heinekens and stuff, but I don't know if those really count. All the big commercially available brands. I've never really done like the stouts or the imported fancy pants stuff. Let's see. I have a great story about my ghost. Messed with us for 4 days after we moved in. Ugh. Um, yeah, that's what did they do? Heineken is Dutch, if I'm not wrong. Heineken. Yeah, well, like I said, it's. Oh wait, there's one other one. It's Australian for beer. What was that one? I tried that too. Unusual sighting at the bird feeder. Too slow with my camera. Hmm. Oh right, so I was going to tell you my ghost story. So growing up in Chicago, everybody knew that the most haunted place ever was a cemetery called Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, and you could look it up. There's tons of stuff about it. But what happened was, I guess, way back in the old days, there was a cemetery. Um, Drinking Australian beer gives you poison resistance. Um, was a big bird. So anyway, this Bachelor's Grove Cemetery was. Everyone always talked. Growing up in Chicago, you'd always hear all these stories. Oh, it's the most haunted cemetery. You got to check it out, especially at night. You got to go in there. And the actual story behind the cemetery is that it was like the whole neighborhood or whatever where it's at was basically shut down and done in like 1962, 1963 was the last time someone was buried there. And from that point on, it was just an abandoned cemetery in the middle of the woods. And the whole forest kind of just grew around it. It's a forest preserve now, so no one's allowed to really change anything there. It's protected. And the cemetery's right in the center of it. So you have to like sneak in through the trees and dig your way in to try and find it. And then if you follow, there's a little trail that leads to it. And when you get there, you find the cemetery. And there's the tombstones and the graves and everything. And me and my buddies used to go there at night to go ghost hunting to see like, oh, well, if there's real ghosts, they're going to be here. So we'd bring our cameras and we'd go out there and we'd film. And there were a couple creepy things that happened. The Holmes house, now a post office, yep. But so anyway, with the Bachelor's Grove deal, so we used to go there and film all the time. And the two creepiest things that ever happened there, one was that we couldn't go there on Halloween because trying to get anywhere near that place on Halloween, I mean, seriously, like everyone does that because it's Halloween. So there's cops everywhere. They're not letting anyone go back there. It's crazy on Halloween. They will not let anyone near the place. But 100 horses couldn't get me into the woods at night. Yeah, it's spooky, but wait till you hear this. So we couldn't get in there on Halloween, but we did go in there and I mean, this was years and years and years ago, but we decided to go in there on November 1st, the day after Halloween, because we thought, well, maybe if they're spirits, they'll still be here, right? So we go there, and we're talking about a cemetery. Right, so it's not like this little area. It's a big, huge cemetery, right? You could tell from just being in there, that like if you were above looking down on Halloween, because we were there the next day, and what we saw was somebody, we saw the remnants of it, so we didn't actually see the thing, but you could tell what happened. Somebody on Halloween in the cemetery built a giant pentagram with the north, south, east, and west obviously pointing it upside down, and out of wood, and burned it, because you could see the ashes in the shape of a giant, and I mean taking up the entire cemetery, a giant pentagram, all of ash, and one of the graves was completely dug up, just a giant hole in front of a tombstone. So, like, ghosts or no ghosts, obviously people did that, and that's messed up. We didn't want to deal with that at all. So that was probably I think we went one more time after that, because that was what crossed the line from a bunch of idiot kids going with their cameras to film ghosts, ooh, fun, to this is serious shit. These satanic cults or whatever the hell's going on out here, this is real. We're going to stop messing with this, because this is not cool. Yes, it did creep us the F out. I used to you used to LARP. Once we had an outdoor adventure starting at midnight. After we left our pub, our scouts were in the front, little scout, and we set off after them. Found them a bit later, they had gone the wrong way, yay scouts, and had jumped out of a pair of innocent passersby whilst they walked through the local graveyard. Oh yeah, that'll do it. That'll definitely be freaky. But then the second story of that cemetery, the Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, was this was before that, and this was just really crazy coincidence. Now, if there are any youngins in here, the Undertaker once told me the dead don't hurt the living, don't hurt you, the living do, right? Anyway, so if there's any youngins out here, you might not know what I'm talking about, so I'm going to explain a little bit. See, back in the old days, we had these things called cameras. Like, you couldn't take a picture with your phone. If you tried to do that, they would think you were nuts. But cameras had film in them. And, like, you would load the film in. There was a little dial. You'd wind it up. You'd take the picture, and then you'd wind it up to the next piece, and then wind it up. And then, so you'd go frame by frame through the entire roll, and then you'd go get it developed. So, my buddy, at the time, took a bunch of pictures of his sister, okay? So only 63. So you know what I'm talking about, Gary. You know what a real camera is. So he takes a picture of his sister, loads up, takes another one, loads up, takes another. So he took a bunch of pictures of his sister. Now, absolute, just pure coincidence, but absolutely insane. And this was before the thing with the pentagram being burned. So we went to the cemetery at night. We were ghost hunting, and he took his camera with to take pictures in the cemetery to see if he could see any ghosts when he developed the pictures. Took a bunch of pictures, and that was that. Meantime, his sister dies of a drug overdose. So now she's passed away. He takes this film in of pictures he took in the cemetery to get it developed. Pure accident, pure coincidence. He's looking for ghosts, taking pictures of the cemetery. When they developed the film, it turns out he double exposed the same roll. So the pictures he took of the cemetery had a ghost, looking for ghosts, had a ghost image of his dead sister, because it was the same roll of film that he took the pictures of her on. So between that and then the people burning the pentagram and all that is why we stopped going to Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, because both of those things, again, neither of them we actually saw a ghost, but they were both freaky enough and real enough with the, whoever dug up the grave and stuff, that we said, you know what, I think we're going to stop going to to Bachelor's Grove, go ghost hunting, because this is getting too real. So those are my ghost stories. yeah, that's that. Uh, yes, yes. The being able to. I mean, just think about what I'm doing right now. Like seriously, the idea, first of all, of being able to make a video at all, right? Like I remember when I got my first video camera, it was this big, and I had to hold it on my shoulder with a videotape in it, and then a big old, videotape. Um, and you're 184 years old. The hell are you doing here? Don't you belong like in the hospital or something? What are you, a vampire? All right. So anyway, congratulations if you actually are that old. But for somehow I doubt it, because you'd be in the news if you were 184. So you had to have these big bulky things, and I'm actually old enough to remember, although I never had one, they were too expensive for us. Even before that, they had one where you had to have like the VCR strapped to you and the camera plugged into it, and you'd stick the tapes in there and record, and it was big and bulky. So now I have this tiny little phone that I have propped up here, and not only am I making a video, I'm actually broadcasting live to where people in frickin' Germany and the UK are able to watch it. Like the technology behind the fact that we're able to do this it's like a miracle. It's incredible. I think expectation has a lot to do with it. Yeah. Oh, whether you expect to see a ghost. Because then you start looking for anything, right? It's like those experiments they do with the sound, where they like hit record on a tape recorder and just record the environment, right? And then they go back and listen to it, and if they hear or anything that sounds like anything, the human brain tries to, interpret what you're hearing. So they're like, oh, it's the ghosts talking to me, right? I don't know. There's a logical explanation for most of it, but every once in a while something happens where you say, well, all right, maybe there is something else going on in the universe that we don't get yet, because it's just too weird. Oh, Gary's counting in binary. All right, that's why. That's funny. Not counting in binary then. I thought you were 15. Gary 11111. Oh, that's sad. The only ghost encounter I may have had was 2 hours before my sister died from cancer. A picture of her fell over. A friend of mine does paranormal investigations. Well, I mean, it's better than frauditing, right? Let's see. If that, yeah, that's exactly right. It's creepy stuff, man. Ugh, get the chills. Plus the fact that it's cold. Is it still snowing? No. Alright, let me see what you guys... Hold on. Ugh. Boom. We still got our skull fan in here. I'm going to change my glasses real quick. I like these shades. You see that? F is 15, which is one in binary. Ah, okay. I got you. I was 15 160 years ago. Hey, well, at least you can do a lot of quick math. Let's see. These are actually, well, I mean, these aren't hard to see in, but it's hard for me to see with them on because I'm trying to read. That's why I put my reading glasses on to do these, because I learned yesterday that I could do much better the other way. Ah, and what about these? These I like. They make everything yellow. It's not like looking at the world through rose-colored glasses. All right, so looks like somebody there actually understands binary. So let me ask you something. I understand where binary came from, why it exists, how they use it, and all that. But what I've been wondering for a while now is, at this point, do we still even need it, or is it just because it's been used for so long and all computer everything has been built around it that it's just what we use because that's the standard now? Never out of fashion, that style. I don't really have style. I have Grace. My daughter's name is Grace, my oldest. Oh, she's something else, man, I'll tell you what. Yes, it is indeed, but it tends not to be used directly. Yes, it is needed, but it tends not to be used directly. Okay. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like I said, I understand what it is and why, but like when you think about it, and like when they were using it, when they invented it, it makes perfect sense because literally the switch had to be either on or off, or one or two, or 0 or 1, however you look at it. But right, things are either on or off. When the code gets, yeah. Well, that's it. But I've always wondered if that's just because all computer languages are currently binary when the actual code gets executed. Right. But what I've always wondered is just, at this point with the technology we have now, does it still have to be binary code? I mean, it does because that's the standard, but is that standard still necessary? When it was literally physically flipping the switch either on or off, that was completely different than a microchip. I mean, I guess it does the same thing, all right? But whatever, that's going beyond where we're at. Look at this. The number of people in here is dropping like flies as we're talking about this computer nerd stuff. Let me put I call these my 3D goggles. They're just my reading glasses. Back on for a minute. Hats and glasses. That's my my whole spiel, Camille. All right, so who else? We got anybody new in here? Hasn't said anything yet? I need to say hi to. Hello, hello, hello. All right. So, what do we got? Mainframes are installed. The memory was a lattice of wires and an iron ring, and intersections of the code can be changed by flipping individual rings. Right. I'm just playing your game and listen to your chill voice. All right. I could dig that. All right. This is my jazz DJ voice. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hezokuai channel. Today we're going to be getting some smooth jazz. Breakfast? I just ate dinner. What time is it? Where do you live? What are you, another one of these Australian people? New Zealand or something? Runner? I mean, it's Sunday early evening. What else am I going to do? Well, yeah. I keep forgetting, when that's one of the things that's wonderful about this. I'm broadcasting globally. I'm talking to people from Germany. So it's evening to you. It's still morning for me. Yeah, just ate dinner. Yep. I got a big cat on me that does not like me texting. Took a few minutes to type this. Oh man. I've been arguing with my kids because they want a cat, and they're like, "Dad, you hate cats. Why do you hate cats so much?" I don't hate cats. It's not like I think it's funny when they get run over by a car or something. I mean, I don't hate them. I'm allergic to them. I'm deathly allergic to them. Last time I went to someone's house who owned a cat. Like, not there was a cat in the house, but at some point they had previously owned one. The last time I walked into a house like that, I got so sick. My face turned red, my eyes got puffy, my nose started running, I started having trouble breathing. I cannot get anywhere near a cat. I know there are breeds that are for allergic people, but I don't want any genetically engineered cat. If I'm going to get a cat, I want a freaking animal. Not some man-made Frankenstein monster built for allergy people. Ugh. My dinner will be ready in 15 minutes. I don't know if this construction's going to be done tonight, but dag nabbit, I'm going to make myself a pizza. That's my plan for dinner tonight. But my wife and kids will be home because they got school tomorrow for the kids, so they're definitely going to come back tonight. Russian blue is one, I think. A Russian blue cat. Whatever. I'm not getting a cat. I mean, I know what I just said, but I'm not getting one. Like, I don't hate cats, but I don't want one in my house. They poop in their little poop scooper thing, licking cat hair balls, cat hair balls all over the place. Don't look now, here one comes, splat right in your face. Oh, what was that a reference to? Come on, guys. Nobody ever gets any of my references. Let's see. Spicy beef stir fry. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, I love a good stir fry. And then you gotta put some rice in it. Gummy guinea pigs. For a second I thought it said gummy pigs. I'm like, I can't deal with guinea pigs. Yeah, those things are pretty stinky. My daughter does have a hamster. The little shit tried to escape from his cage last night. I'm trying to sleep and I just hear this bang, 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 bang. What the heck's going on here, So I followed the noise and I finally found the hamster. It climbed to the top of the cage and was scraping at the top, trying to lift it up and get out of there. I'm like, no. Guinea pigs, gummy pigs. I'm not that kinky. Hey, we don't kink shame here, like Radical always says. You got to do what you got to do. Where's my coffee? This is my coffee mug, man. I don't fool around when it comes to drinking my coffee. And it's dig this. I noticed this. I'm going to show you guys this. So I got my, she's 87, sorry. All right, so I got my my coffee creamer, right? But it's the movie Elf, right? But look, they couldn't get the rights to use Will Ferrell's face. So the face is just, you see that? It's Will Ferrell from the movie Elf, but they couldn't use his face, so it's just blacked out. But there's no expectation of privacy in public. And if you were wondering, it's peppermint mocha. Yeah, this is, I go through at least one of these of coffee every day, especially when I'm at work, because it's the only way I could stay up. But also sitting out here in the garage, I need something hot. It's not hot anymore, it's cold now. But I got two space heaters pointed at me right now. Yesterday I had the space heaters going, and then I opened the door, and since it's a garage door, I blew the fuse because the power to take the door on top of the heaters was too much. What would I give for Glenn cereal being tased in the testicles? That would probably be the greatest thing that has ever happened. The only thing that could be better is if it was Silence Boy. Yeah, I think everyone should repeat that Silence Boy video. Oh yeah, and since we're back on that, and that's what we're all originally came here for, right? Glenn, Silence Boy, people like that really bother me. Amagansett Press is another one, because first of all, obviously, I don't like that they mess with cops. I don't like that they messed with, state employees. But these guys, they mess with just regular people. Just you and me walking down the street, and they're out there and like, why? Like, what's the point? And like I said, I don't even, I don't even support the fact that, like, there's a big difference between cop watching, which I actually am not against, and cop baiting, right? You grab your cat, you see somebody get pulled over, you're standing on the street corner, you're quite a distance back, you pull out your camera and you film so that if something goes down, somebody will have it on camera. They'll have some evidence, right? But that should be fine. And that's what cop watching is. But that's not what these guys are doing. What are they doing? They see someone get pulled over, they pull out the camera. Hey, make sure you don't plant drugs on them, you tyrant. And now they're screaming and yelling. So now the cop has to go deal with the idiot. And yes, Silence Boy did a funeral. That, you talk about having absolutely no morals and no Silence Boy literally is one of the least respectable pieces of human garbage I could imagine. I mean, the way he talks, just the fact that he dresses the way he does and walks around with, depending on where he's at, because there's a video where he actually gets busted for having an illegal amount of pepper spray and a taser on him. Old school, hey, welcome. Oh, you're the one who said he did a funeral. See, that's why I got my goggles on. I have trouble reading sometimes. Welcome. Anyway, so Silence Boy's looking for trouble. Because why would he have all that stuff with him unless he knew that he was going to push people possibly to the point where they're going to beat him? Yes, Glenn videotaped a murder victim being taken away. Absolutely, I saw that too. It's, Silence Boy makes my blood boil. I can't watch him long enough to make a video on him myself. Yeah. See, there's, like, to me, the least one to worry about would be PayPal Patty, because he's getting so desperate for content. He's doing the bit, like the one video he made not that long ago, but where he walks up to the cop that's sitting in his car and starts asking the cop, like, am I being detained? And the cop's like, what? Hello? I wasn't even talking to you. What are you talking about? Right? He's desperate for content. He's trying to find something, but respect for the dead. They don't have respect for the dead. They don't have, and and I'm not, unclean hands, say, hey, how you doing, buddy? So anyway, yeah, the churches, and who's the one, I still don't know, but I guess she's a trans that goes around doing audits, like at churches and stuff, but dressed in black from head to toe, so there's no possible way that anyone could see whether it's a man or a woman under there. And then when the people get upset, they pull the trans card on them, like, oh, you're just being sexist or racist or whatever. What was that one's name? Furry Potato, yes. He respects no one. Fuzzy Spud, yep. Yeah, that whole thing is just ridiculous. Oh, Furry Potato. See, now and that's the thing, people said earlier, oh, Silence Boy makes my blood boil. And I said this on yesterday's stream too, sometimes, especially when watching videos with those guys, it gets to the point where even I just have to sit back and go, yeah, man, this is too much. I don't understand how, I can't understand how these people can't understand why what they're doing is wrong. You get fined for insulting law enforcement. Yeah, and it's illegal to conceal yourself that much. Yeah, I'd love to see some of these people try some of this stuff in some other countries. I just edited a video from Jason Gutter Trash. I feel dirty. I'm gonna go. Dinner's ready. Been fun. Thanks, says. Thank you, Gary. Enjoy your dinner. Yum yum. Um, yeah, I've got so much stuff down the pipeline, and again, like I was saying in yesterday's, as the doldrums of winter start to hit harder, I'm gonna have more time to work on videos, and I'll be starting posting more stuff. But right now, I got so many videos that I'm working on, and so much stuff I'm editing. But sometimes it does get to that point, especially trying to edit it, where anyone who does videos knows what I'm talking about. Where you have to go through your timeline and watch it and go back to make sure your edits are in the right place. And sometimes you end up watching the same clip a couple times trying to find the right spot. And it's like, it's bad enough sitting through this the first time. Now I'm editing it and I have to watch it again and again and again just to find the perfect spot to throw in my bit or whatever. Oh man. It gets pretty brutal sometimes because I don't know. I can't, like, dude, Unclean, you are like a content beast. Like, you put your stuff out so much. Like, it seems like every time I log back onto YouTube, oh look, there's a new Unclean Hands video again. Like, it's your work ethic when it comes to editing is insane, and that's in a good way. I appreciate that. Crazy sometimes, yeah. Um, I'm working on a couple big ones right now. I mentioned yesterday I want to do a sequel to the Sovereign Citizen Awards. I already got, just because I went live yesterday, I already got Unclean Hands and Kick. Both agreed to help me out with that, or to at least be involved. Um, I like your content. Recently subbed to you. That's good. Yep. Um, yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's fun. I love making videos. I don't know how you content creators can watch these guys over and over without getting ill. Well, that's my point. Sometimes I do. Like, I have to take a break once in a while. Usually I'll clean my palate by, you know, going back and just watching some comedy videos, or like actually watching a real show. Um, what was the last one that I watched? Well, I watched pro wrestling, so I watched the AEW pay-per-view last night, um, which was pretty freaking awesome. If you like pro wrestling, AEW is blowing WWE out of the water right now. They're destroying them. Um, but anyway, so like I do that to clean my palate sometimes. If I get something stuck in my head, the only way to get it out is to listen to Slayer or something. um, the mind numbing to the extreme. Yes. Old school, Unclean Hands greetings. It can be brutal, Sam K. Yes. But like I say, right now I've got a little bit of everything going. What I've been trying to do, and for me, editing's a little bit more difficult because I'm trying to not support their channels as much as I can. So I actually download a lot of stuff from you guys. And like, I find a clip of something that I like that you're using, so I'll download your video of it and then just re-edit it so that I'm only taking out the parts where I'm not throwing them. Go through the pain for the subs and money. Well, I mean, I haven't got any of that yet, but that'd be nice. But yeah, I don't know. Monetization's a whole nother thing because I'm not quite there yet, but I definitely wouldn't mind, like I said. But the pain is a kind of it is painful sometimes. There's no doubt about that. Let's see, it can be mind numbing to the extreme. Yeah. The worst part for me isn't the unashamed I am. Oh no, unclean. That's like I said. I don't have a problem with As soon as I'm eligible for monetization, I'm going to do it. There's no question about that. But it's just at this point, I'm not trying to become. Uh, how can I put it? Because obviously, I would love to. Okay, let me go back. So this is basically, I've always had this. This is why my channels existed for over 10 years. Okay, I've always wanted to be involved in video. My BA is in. I edit and then go watch Law Talk with Mike to chill and laugh. Yeah, Law Talk with Mike he was the first guy in the community that really supported, well, old school and Cheeky Monkey, but Law Talk, he gave me a shout out, which gave me a huge boost, and then obviously when Schrodinger gave me a shout out, forget about it. But anyway, when I started out, originally my thought process was, one, I love making videos. Two, I love making music. Three, I love drawing. Four, I love writing. So I thought YouTube was the perfect platform for me to be able to get all of my stuff out there. So Simon Mitchner, with the amount of time and effort put into doing these videos, people doing it deserve some form of compensation. Right, exactly. I have no problem with making money, or people who do make money. It's the problem is when you start looking at, like, even the frauditors. If we just started laughing when we run into these guys, they probably wouldn't upload the video. I have my own theory about that. I went over that a little bit yesterday, but I could talk about it some more again today. Judge and Executioner, yes, welcome. Good to see you. I don't know if you know me, but I see you with all the time in the chats and with on your feeds. I like watching your stuff too. So welcome to the show. Good day. My theory of the frauditors and what I would do to them if I came into contact with them in real life, I would get extremely close to them. I'd pull out my camera and I would get right in their face, as close as I could possibly get without actually physically touching them. And then obviously they'd be compelled to say something about it. And I would have, just like they have their pre-prepared script, I would have mine. And it would be based on theirs. If they say, get away from me, I would say, oh, what are you, a tyrant telling me what to do? Hey, get away from me, you're in my private space. What law says I can't be in your personal space? What law is that? Show me the code. Oh, well, you have to be 6 feet away. That's a statute. That's not a law. Tell me what law it is. And I would just stay I would stay on them as close as I can without touching them. And just keep on them, and not let them, get this audit done because they're too busy dealing with me. Yes. Wow, it seems I'm sub to most of you here. Yeah, that's another reason why I decided to do this. Like I said, yesterday's stream was just an off the cuff kind of thing. Just I was testing my equipment to see if I could do it, and then today I liked it so much I decided to do it again. But then that's the other thing I've noticed too. When I start seeing names pop up of people that I am a fan of, it's like, wow, that's great. Speaking of which, I should give some of you guys wrenches. I know I gave Kick one. He's got one, and Schrodinger, obviously, a Marvel Girl. Don't forget they'd be impeding your travel. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about, Simon. Like, Glenn has his own atmosphere. That's the whole point of, like, what I would do with my idea with getting close to them is that I would not want to stoop to their level, but to use their own tactics against them, right? Oh, what law says I can't stand close to you? You're a tyrant to tell me where to stand in a public place. I have the right to be in a public place. This is a public place. I can stand wherever I want. And if that's right next to you, then you can't stop me. And if they touch me, I will do like they do, even if it's just a little assault, he assaulted me. Condoms are 98% effective. Glenn is 100% effective. Yes, you talk about incel. Oh my goodness. I think that's Glenn Serial's picture is in the dictionary next to the definition of incel. Event Horizon. Glenn Serial's a black hole. Alright, so as you guys all know, I don't smoke, so I'm not lighting one up right now. Ah! I would never do that. Any of you guys remember Johnny Carson used to have a freaking ashtray on his desk, and he would smoke during the show? Ground and Pound, Endgame, Glenn Serial. Yeah, I love that. I think, is it you, Unclean, that used that in the intro? Oh, I'm ready to scrap with you whenever you want. Yeah, it's not a cigarette, it's chalk. That's great. When I was, okay, here's how old I am. When I was a kid, they still had candy cigarettes. And they were actually sold that looked like a cigarette pack. And, oh, Dr. Dave, yep, sorry, yeah. Yes, Dr. Dave the Beard Professor, and he just added that line in his name, like frauded or whatever. Anyway, yeah, that's the other thing too. I subscribe to all you guys, and I end up watching everybody, and other than obviously Artie and Schrodinger, Law Talk with Mike, Natalie Lawyer Chick, all you guys. You're all part of the same family. I remember those candies. Yep, you used to blow on them, and then it would be like sugar powder, but it would look like smoke. And I thought I was so cool because I would wear my shirt, and I would take the cigarette pack and roll it up in my sleeve, so I'd have that cigarette pack shaped thing sticking out, and I'd be walking around like pretending they were real cigarettes, and then I put on my, was cool. Oh no, not trying to reconnect. Am I still on? That is, see, when I get these random drops, I realized this during yesterday's broadcast, what was going on. I get these random drops in my Wi-Fi where I'll just lose the signal for a few seconds, but it's enough to screw up the feed, and then I have to reboot to get it back on. And it's just where I'm at. I'm out here in the middle. There ain't nothing but cows and corn, like I said in my Radical. Did you guys go back and check out my interview with Trying to Reconnect? I used to smoke in my office in a nursing home. Yeah, still there. Yep. Gets jittery. Bandwidth. I remember the first time I was ever on an airplane, they had ashtrays in the armrests. And they used to have that in the movie theater too. I remember when McDonald's used to have these little metal ashtrays on the tables, so you could smoke in McDonald's while the kids are playing in the play place. You're just smoking away. Oh man, I gotta quit smoking. The frauditors are hacking your Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's what it is. They're after me. I need to check that interview with them, or Radical. No, it's Radical. That's the thing. The chat's working for me. Well, like I said, right now my Wi-Fi's dipping. It just randomly does that sometimes, but it looks like it's back now, at least for the moment. Yeah, Simon. I took a bunch of clips from Radical videos that the cow was in, and then I cut it so that it was like I was having an interview with the cow. And it's funny because no matter what question I ask, the answer is it's great. Yes, Simon, you've got to check it out. I put a lot of work into that one. It's great. No spoilers. You check it out. It's you'll see it. It's on my channel. I guess yesterday's live feed would have been my most. Do I have a community Discord? I'm on the Discord for content creators in the community. It's like it's not my Discord. I think it's run by Marvel. There's another one. There's two of them that put it together. It's supposed to be music. Um, prayed to Schrodinger lately. Paracord Princess, hello. No, just watching his feeds and his videos. Yeah, no, I'm trying to. Well, I've been trying to change it up. Like, I've yeah, that's the thing on Clean Hands. That's my problem. I have no idea how to use Discord. I go in there and I see, like, I'll see Marvel or Artie or Schrodinger or whatever. They'll be on there doing their thing, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, what is it? I, I can, like, put a link to one of my videos in there. I know that, and then it would work as sort of like they said, like a TV guide for the watchdog community, right? Um, but I don't know how to use Discord. That's what it comes down to. I've messed with it a little bit, but if I had that much time to sit at the computer, I'd use that time editing videos. So I don't know. I don't even know how to use TikTok. I'm on Twitter, but I never look at it because I don't have any followers. No. Um, Same boat with Discord, yeah. Purple Princess, all right. I like that purple heart. I got 2 dogs on my chest. AFK, just listening in. Hey, dogs are great. I love dogs. Take a ride in AMG submarine and don't forget to look out the windows and wave. That was the greatest thing too. And everyone, it's fun. Everyone likes to give Marvel a hard time about that. But I see where she was coming from, because a commercial submarine, there'll be windows so that you could look at the fish or whatever. But I mean, they were specifically talking about naval submarines, battle machines. And yeah, there's no windows in those. You'll sit there for 2 hours to not discomfort them, won't you, Sam? Oh, okay. You're talking to Sam. Ugh. Yeah, she got that fancy pants computer that Kick made for her. That was pretty good watching him build that. The purple submarine computer. Anyway, like I was saying yesterday, what I'm trying to do at this point is to put together more of a reaction style. Because what I've been doing so far is I've been trying to keep all of my videos primarily original content and completely different. Like I did one that was the very first one was the Sovereign Citizen Trivia Challenge, where I would ask questions like, "What is this?" and show a picture of a driver's seat, and then the answer is a driver's seat. Things like that. And then my next video was the Black's Law Dictionary, where I just like took all these sovereign citizen definitions of these words. And then my next one was me running a class where I was trying to teach sovereign citizens the definition of jurisdiction. And then I had all these clips where people are arguing jurisdiction in court. And then, I did the one where I was like Steve Irwin doing a documentary on sovereign citizens, like as if they were animals, So the point is, I've always tried to do something completely different each time. But now I'm getting to the point where, especially now that I actually have a channel where there's people and I have a fan base, where I'm trying to think of like doing more series type stuff. So like, okay, instead of just having a video that's this and then a video that's that and a video that, like, okay, start making videos that are the same, like a series like this, like another live stream, right? Another video that's whatever type it is that I decide to go with. And I want to try and start getting more into like a reaction channel kind of a takeoff, but I'm doing reactions to sovereign citizen videos. And one of the reasons why I decided I want to start going that way is because of the copyright strikes that I keep seeing that these guys are putting against the watchdogs, if you still want to call us that or whatever. I need to make a video with tips on how not to get a frauditor to have your channel taken down. Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I want to start using more of their content in my content, just to kind of shove it up their wazingy that they're trying to do this to us, right? Like, oh, you're into free speech, but you don't want us to use ours. You only want you to use yours. So, you know, putting all these copyright strikes against us and all this nonsense. So I almost like because originally I didn't want to just be another channel that does the same thing that you do and that Schrodinger does and that all these guys do and blah blah blah. I could help you with that very easy. Oh, excellent. I'm always open to suggestions for sure. But yeah, that's the point. I want to start doing more of that kind of thing just because, hey, you guys are going to come after us for using your content. Fine, I'm going to start using more of your content. That'll, you know, just up yours kind of a thing. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. All right. So what do we got here? Beatles did Yellow Submarine. You could do the Pink Submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine. Quick, talk about Hezokuai while he's gone. What a jerk. Yeah, he's back. Hey, you know what? Say whatever you want if you're in here. I don't care if, you know, I mean, obviously if somebody starts, kind of like with Schrodinger's rules, if somebody starts saying things that are like bad, then obviously whatever, but, you know, if somebody comes in here that's a troll, let them troll as long as they're not actually crossing the line. You know, that's their thing. I've tried to have conversations, and I talked about this a little bit, through their comment section. I've actually had conversations with a couple of these guys, and okay, Sam, I am. That, what you just said, that is something that I'm actually working on right now. That's one of the videos that I've been doing where I'm trying to put, like, edit the frauditors' responses and things they're saying to cops, like, as if they're talking to each other. That's actually something that I'm working on right now. You know who's putting out strikes? Only do one video of theirs at a time. If it's not struck after 30 days, unlist it and do another one. Takes 3 copyright strikes to shut you down. Ooh, very good. All right, that's good to know. That's real good to know, actually. Yeah. I only have ever, like I said, I've had this channel for over 10 years now. I just started doing this stuff about 6 months ago, and I finally found my niche. But that, what was my point? Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. Okay, but so what? Oh, it was about the copyright. I had 1 copyright strike against me, and it's still on there. I did like a review of the movie Rocky. It was one of my first videos. Actually, it's still my most viewed video ever. All right. But it's I'm not going to say if anymore, because it's at this point it's just a matter of time. When I get monetized, any money that comes off of that video is going to go to Paramount. So the copyright strike didn't get it taken down, but they get paid. And there's one clip, one section of the movie that I use that they have a problem with. And then I re-edited just that bit. But then when I went to repost it, I got audio only, no video. So now I don't know what's going on with that. I've tried to fix it, and I don't want to just, because I can like have YouTube automatically just cut that bit out that they're complaining about, but it is like the most important bit in the whole video. So without that footage, the whole thing falls apart. I only had 2, PayPal Patty and Jeremy DeWitt. Beat them both. Yeah, I need to go back and binge watch your old vids. Oof, the dogs just got up. Yes, Sam, I got like I said, I've got so much stuff. For all and I got my playlists, right? So if you like the sovereign citizen stuff, you can go back to that playlist. Um, I have my Bears playlist where I reviewed all the Bears games for a couple seasons. I haven't done any this season yet. I still want to, but I just they're not doing anything this year anyway, so it's not like I'm missing anything. I watch all the games, but I haven't been reviewing them. But yeah, I got a review of Rocky on there. I'm actually finished editing a review of Pulp Fiction that I haven't posted yet because there's still a couple bits that I need to tighten up again because of copyright. Um, but I got that down the pipeline too. And then my music, and uh, I write and record music all the time, and then just put videos. The video is always, well, I mean, my old ones had copyright strikes on them too because I just used random clips from movies just so that I'd have something to look at. But on my second channel, my music channel, which is TR573, because that was my DJ name. Those are all just videos of my music that I wrote with like album covers that I made that are basically just I took my drawings and just put them, that way. Another thing I've been thinking of doing, I don't know if this would be the appropriate place for it, but I've written like hundreds of short stories, and I wanted to start doing kind of like a series where I would just read, my stories, like, what do they call it? Like books on tape, whatever. I don't have any sponsors yet, so I don't have any mention it. But there's that app, whatever it's called, where you get the books on tape, just the audio of the book. That would be like what it is. It's me reading my stories that I've written. I don't know if you guys would be interested in seeing something like that, but I've got all these things that I do, and this is my platform to get it out there. So I'm trying to put a little bit of everything in there. I need to go back. Oh, the dogs just got up. Yeah. Oh, that's the one I just read and responded to. What was that? I saw something. Audible. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Yeah, that was the example I was using, like an Audible type thing. But literally just me reading all my unpublished stuff because, I could self-publish, but that costs money. So that's why I thought maybe if I just read some of my stories and then put them on there. There is an audience for everything. Yes. Yes, there is. That's something I could even probably do on a live stream. Just, okay, I'm going to read some of my stories. The only problem with that is then I start to feel like, is my writing that good? Honestly, that's why I've never even tried to get published, because I get a little like self-conscious about that, because, I don't know. But maybe that's a good reason to try it too. Yes, hellishly expensive to get books of voice. See, and that's the thing. When even like my music, like I'd love to put it all on like the Spotify or whatever and the iTunes and all that, but you got to pay to even get it on there, and that's not hellishly expensive. But I mean, I live paycheck to paycheck, so if something costs $20, people always tell me, "Oh, why don't you buy this or that? It's $10, $15." $20 to me is a box of diapers. That's not anything fun. It's a couple pizzas. I don't know, something to feed my kids. I always think about them first before anything else. So whenever I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, if I had a better computer and a better phone, then I could focus, and a better camera, I could focus more on my live stream, maybe get one of those fancy microphones with that thing that holds it and all that good stuff. But then I'm thinking, well, that's money I could be spending on something for my children, so I end up always doing that instead. Because I can't help it. That's how I am. They're number one. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's interesting. Since I've been out here, I've been digging through. I got all these bins of random stuff. When I was a kid, I was a big comic book collector, and I had like 37,000 comic books in my collection, and they were all in my mom's basement, and her basement flooded, and like 90% of my collection got destroyed, and all of them are still here in bins in my garage. And yesterday, before I went on live, I was digging through trying to see if any of them were salvageable, and there were like just a handful of them. I can show you. Here. Ugh. Where did they go? Hold on. There, have it. Where did I put those? Alright. You guys are sitting here watching me. I don't want to be digging through bins looking for comic books while you're on live. So I think hit that like button. That's right. My friend looked into getting his books. My hubs and I were dinks, so we're comfy now. Well, that's good. And by the way, hit that like button. Yeah, I like that. Support the channel, people. Get her going, get her going. I got 14 likes right now. There's only 12 in here, so that's good. And this is the only thing at this point that I need to become eligible for monetization is time. I called the cops because it felt his private space invaded. Just saying, I'd donate. Yeah. Well, oh, thank you. Well, that's the other thing. Once I get monetized, then I could put the super chats on here too. Law Talk with Mike during yesterday's stream was actually like, I want to give you a super chat. What's going on? How come you don't have your super chats on? I need time. That's all I need at this point to be monetized. Is you have to have 4,000 total viewing hours, and right now I think I'm at like 1,500 or something. So there's that. I just saw myself again. I'm going to take this thing off. This is my joke hat. Ugh. It's funny that my actual hat is my joke hat, and my funny hat is my real one. And I like to have his bill lined up with my nose. I'm always adjusting it, trying to get it just right. Oh well. Excuse me. So, let's get into it. I'm trying to think, because a lot of stuff I covered yesterday, but I don't know. Is everyone who's in here now, were you here yesterday? Or because sometimes, and this is the other thing, it gets, one of the main reasons why it's so frustrating, because these people always repeat the same stuff over and over and over. I start feeling repetitive, because it's like they they say the same arguments over and over and over, so we have to address the same issues over and over and over. It's like, okay, for years now you've been saying that driving isn't traveling or blah blah blah. It's not. I have to repeat again that it's not, because you keep repeating that it is. And then I feel repetitive, and then I'm like, oh, well, should I even talk about this again? It's like, well, but they brought it up again. And then it never stops. It's just this endless cycle. And that goes back to something I was saying earlier. I was trying to talk to these guys in their comments section, and I got into conversation with some of them about everything, just what they're doing, and through the comments they were responding to me, and I had some conversations with these guys, and I noticed that even in that scenario, even in a real life type situation, they're still talking in circles, because everything comes down to the fact that fundamentally, like, the entire foundation on which their belief system is built in and of itself is incorrect. So no matter what kind of argument you make, it's not going to matter. It's like with the flat earthers, right? You can't use science and evidence to prove that they're wrong, because their fundamental belief is that that stuff is a lie. So no matter how you explain it to them, they're going to not accept your explanation, because to them it's a lie. You explain to the sovereign citizens and the frauditors how the law actually works. Well, I mean, obviously you have your just straight up scammers, right? Who, like, we kind of we kind of covered this a little bit yesterday. The whole idea that someone like Anselmo, to me, is smart enough to know better. He's running a scam. He knows it, and he's just doing it for the money. And he does know better. He just doesn't care. You can't win a race against someone who keeps moving the goalpost. That's exactly right. Well, it would be the finish line if it's a race, but I know what you mean. No, the goalpost, yeah. But yes, they. Does anyone here get the funny times? I don't know. Sometimes I have a funny time. But so anyway, yeah. The idea being that you have your con artists who are basically just doing this as a scam to make money off their YouTube channel, or to file frivolous lawsuits, and the hope that eventually one of them will hit and they'll get paid, or the government will just settle out of court and they'll get paid, whatever. But then I'm talking about the people who actually believe in the movement, right? Referring to those guys specifically, what I've found is that, again, because they're fundamental, the foundation of their belief system itself is that the whole thing is a lie, or that there's like the judges, the lawyers, the courts, they know that the sovereign citizens are right. They know, this is in their mind, right? They know that these people are right. They know what the actual real law is. But they have to keep up the veil. They have to hide behind their, supposed court or whatever, to pull this stuff off, or to try to scam people into paying fines or going to prison or whatever. It's all just a big conspiracy. So no matter what law you point at as proof that they're wrong, they're going to say that that's not true, that's not, because they think it's all a lie to begin with. So it always just wraps back around. Well, that's not true. Well, actually, it is true. You're wrong. No, that's not true. Okay, well, here's the laws. Here's the court cases. Here are the studies that have been done that prove it. They make fun of everyone on both sides. Yeah, they do. But those guys deserve to be made fun of. Especially Silence Boy and Glenn. Could you imagine if these guys didn't have a camera in front of their face, and they tried talking the way they talk to normal people without the camera, how often they would take a beating? And they always act so surprised when, like, okay, your whole purpose is to get a reaction. And there was a recent video with Amagansett Press where he specifically said, the reason I'm doing this is to, an audit, he says, is they can't know that the audit is happening. That's why we refuse to answer questions, right? This is his story. And the whole purpose of an audit is to get a natural, real reaction from people. Gary UK's back, all right. So I was just talking about how this latest video from Amagansett Press, where in the video he says that the reason they don't answer questions is because that's the purpose of an audit, is that you don't know it's happening. And that, the purpose of the audit is to get the natural reaction of people, to see how they react to you. In other words, he's saying we're there to get a reaction. And if there isn't a reaction, he doesn't say this part, but if there isn't a reaction, then that's why they have to trigger a reaction, because that's the whole point, is to get one. And then as soon as they do something to trigger a reaction, then they, oh, why are you doing this? I'm just here trying to do my First Amendment. Like, I don't understand why you would be reacting to me. Because you pushed until you got a reaction. Um, so I get in the face of the officers to interrupt them doing their job. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Because they're trying to elicit a reaction. I talked about this a little bit yesterday. They, their whole purpose is to get a reaction, right? So if that, because a lot of these audits, if you actually go back to like the original videos, they'll be there for hours filming, right? And there won't be any reaction. So if you go and you film and there's no reaction, then they passed and you stop, right? No. They're going to keep filming and keep filming and keep filming until they do get a reaction. And if they don't get one, then they're going to push it and they're going to push it and they're going to push it. And it's like, okay, I'm going to do this until the cops come. And then when the cops come, I'm going to ask for a supervisor. So they're going to call in a supervisor. Now that guy's going to bring backup. Now I got 5 cops here. Now I'm going to complain about why are you wasting taxpayers' money sending 5 cops after a dude with a camera? Well, because your dumbass asked for more cops to come. You could have just said, here's my ID. I'm just here filming. I'm not bothering anybody. I just wanted to do my thing. Oh, okay. That's it. It'd be done. But that's not going to get clicks and views. That's not going to make them sweet YouTube money, right? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Somebody's talking about food. Roast chicken, sprouts, roast potatoes, old school. Brussels sprouts? What kind of sprouts? That sounds not very... Oh, that's funny too, because the way you said it, you were adding old school. But I thought you were saying that you had roast chicken sprouts and roast potatoes, like old school style cooking. Brussels. Oh, I just had a big old plate of Brussels sprouts like 2 days ago. I love those things. So in Brussels, are they just called sprouts? What are the kind of sprouts that are really good on a hamburger? You get them in California a lot. I forget what they are though. Dang nabbit. Anyway, see, now you got me thinking about food. I'm like, oh, yum yum. What was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about dumbass Sam McGann's the press. He doesn't deserve it. We call it rose cabbage. Okay. Yeah, that actually makes sense. I can see that. Kind of looks like a cabbage, very small, like a rose, shaped like that. Yeah. See, I love the way Europeans talk and English, you know, some of their expressions like makes a lot more sense than a lot of us. Sorry, what on hamburgers? There's some kind of sprouts that they put on hamburgers, especially in California, that are really good, but I forget which ones they are. They're not Brussels sprouts. I wouldn't put Brussels sprouts on a hamburger. What was it? Or maybe shots. I don't know, whatever. It's some kind of plant life. And it's not lettuce. By the way, I'm from Chicago, so don't ever put ketchup on a hot dog. Bean sprouts. See, old school knows what I'm talking about. What the actual... Hey, man. I don't mess around when it comes to hot dogs and hamburgers. Or pizza. Bean sprouts. Alfalfa sprouts. Yeah. See, now you guys are just naming all the good sprouts. Now I want to put all of them on there. Mustard on a hot dog. That's right. The classic Chicago-style hot dog is going to have mustard, onions, 1 pickle, sometimes cucumbers, depending on where you go, and 2 sport hot peppers. On a nice Vienna beef or a kosher hot dog, kosher best hot dog. I like to use the curry sauce. Hebrew Nationals I like to use, but in the stores it's always either the Vienna beef or the best kosher. But it's got to be a good hot dog, and that's what I always try to explain to my kids because they're always like, they want to get a hot dog and put a bunch of ketchup on it. I'm like, okay, so you use the cheap hot dogs and ruin them with ketchup, and I'm gonna get the good expensive hot dogs that taste so good you could eat them plain if you wanted to. Gary UK doesn't like cooked onions. Sauteed onions are, mwah. You put those on a hamburger with some sauteed mushrooms, you put them together, and Swiss cheese. Oh man, ooh-wee. That's good stuff. I would put ketchup on a hamburger because it's just cheap ground beef. You're allergic to onions? Oh, I'm sorry. Bean sprouts are the Brussels sprouts. What New York cheesecake is to drain on blocker. Yeah, yeah. York. Yeah, I knew you meant New York. Not Old York, New York. Allergic to onions. It's terrible. I love onions. My dad used to eat onions like an apple. He just, oh, that I can't do. Put ketchup on Glen cereal. He's cheap beef. Speaking of cheap beef, dig this. So I used to, over the years, I've had so many different jobs, and I've worked in fast food joints. And a couple things that I noticed that I thought were very interesting. At Taco Bell, the beef came to us in boxes. And if you read the ingredients, it said beef flavored taco filling. How do you like them apples? I worked at Burger King, and the French fries came in a box that if you read the ingredients, it did not say potatoes. It was a freaking paragraph of just chemicals, 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 chemicals. So that's yummy. What was the other one? There was something. Oh, I was talking about the Walla Walla onions within it. Oh yeah, sweet onions. Yeah, I got so sick. Yeah, I bet. Like I said, I can't just eat an onion like that. But I love my onions, and they don't make me sick. But I will admit they give me heartburn really bad. Onions do have that effect on me, but you know, like I said, especially sautéed on a hamburger. Or, all right, now this is going to be controversial. UK McDonald's fries, potatoes, vegetables, and salt. Okay, from what I understand, outside of the United States, when anyone eats authentic American food, they don't understand what's happening because all they could taste is either salt or sugar or fat, and not the food. I don't know how true that is, but that sounds like what you're talking about. Potatoes, vegetable oil, salt, done. French fries, good. You know, here it's like there's, like I said, paragraphs of all the chemicals that they make them out of. It's insane. I don't think Americans eat very much actual food, unless you're Glen cereal, then that's all you do, right? That's the other thing that's fun about making fun of some of these guys, because I'm a bigger dude, but I can make fun of them for being big because they're assholes anyway, so screw them. Let's see, what was the other thing I was going to talk about? Oh, right, now this might be a little controversial because everyone pronounces it different, so I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'll say all of them. Oh wait, here, let's see, Simon said something. We had a truck stop at work. They had a penny chew type of tub of sweets. One time the list of ingredients read artificial coloring, artificial flavoring. And those are the only ingredients. Yeah, that sounds very much like American food. Vinegar on French fries. But, wait. I know mayonnaise, I've heard of that one. Well, I guess vinegar makes sense because a lot of people put ketchup on their French fries, and that's all ketchup is vinegar and tomatoes, basically. So I guess that makes. I've never even thought of trying that, but it makes sense. Oh, you know what? I just noticed. Okay, so Salt and vinegar chips, yes. Um, all right, so I just noticed this. So this right here, uh, I didn't realize it was in the frame. Uh, After yesterday's feed, my arm got tired from holding up the phone, so I built a little stand, and I actually have two clothespins that are holding the phone up for me, and you could actually see the end of one of them right here. I didn't even realize that until just now. White vinegar in the USA, malt vinegar in the UK. Um, what is, now I can't remember the name of it. It's like some black stuff in a jar that I hear everyone outside of the U.S. eats, and like no one in the U.S. even knows what the heck it is. I can't remember what it's called though. Dag nabbit. I got three thumbs up for my clothespins. Malt vinegar. Yeah. I like coffee. Clothes pegs. Yeah, when I was in film school, we called them C47s. They were one of the most important tools. In fact, the whole reason I have them in here is my whole skull thing. I don't know if you can tell from here, but it's held to the wall by clothespins. I just have clothespins all across the top that are holding it up. Yes, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Marmite? Marmite, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, I have no idea what that is. I've just heard stories about it, and I guess everybody all over the world eats it. In America, like, we don't even know what the heck it is. Yes, Gary, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Holding the gels on the lights. Hold on. I actually have. You put the gel goes in this slot, and then the slot, you slide it down in front of the spotlight, and then you use the clothespins to hold it together. Boom. It's a legendary love-hate food item. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard stories about it. I like watching a lot of videos of people in other countries trying food from other countries and seeing how they react, because I've always, like, I hear stories about back in the day, and I've always wanted to be able to do this, like, just fantasy in my head kind of a thing. But, like, I would hear stories that Frank Sinatra, for example, would, like, if he wanted a Chicago beef sandwich, he had enough money that he would just go to Chicago and order a beef sandwich. Like, if he wanted a plate of a real, authentic Italian food, he would just go to Italy and get some, you know. Always wondered, like, how certain food tastes in certain countries, because I know for a fact that what we call Chinese food isn't like anything anyone would ever eat in China. You know, like, everything here is so Americanized with so much salt or so much sugar or so much, everything has to be either salty or sweet or, you know, I mean, whatever. To me, the secret of cooking is seasoning, because anyone could take something that's cold, put it over a fire and make it hot. That's not cooking. I mean, it is, but to me, the real trick to it is the spices, the seasoning. How do you season it? And in here in America, everything's just seasoned with, you know, salt, or you know, sugar, whatever. Wait a minute. Was it Schrodinger's cat or Team Skeptic that ate Vegemite online? I don't know, but I would think that's something that Team Skeptic would do. I could see him doing that. I mean, you got the guy getting drunk and dancing around in a mankini, right? So it was Team. Yep, he had a terrible time with it. Probably Skeptic. Yep, that's definitely something I could see him doing more so. Speaking of Team Skeptic, I loved the way that, like, after he had that, do you guys even know what I'm talking about? The debacle he had with Fight the Flat Earth, where he went live and got drunk and then started slamming Fight the Flat Earth for going live at the same time. And it was bad. He basically just, like, anyway, A couple days late, well, the next day he did like an apology video, but then his next like regular video after that, it was so good. It was one of the best videos I've ever seen him do. It was almost like I got the feeling he was standing up, like he wasn't seated at all. He like attacked the microphone. It was like he came back saying, "Dagnabbit, I'm Team Skeptic. I know what I'm doing. Watch me pound this video," and he just nailed it. It was beautiful. You know of it, but you didn't see it. Yeah, it was crazy, man. It's like you get these moments of, especially, on a live feed where if somebody just start like exactly what happened with him, he had a little too much to drink and he just started going off. Even his old lady was in the background telling him, "No, stop, slow down, cut it." It was nasty. But I mean, I love his channel. His videos are great. My mom spreads Marmite like butter. No wonder I don't like it. My mom is insane with salt. She puts salt all over everything. It's horrible. He was totally overdoing it with the amount he put on there for sure. The amount he put of the Marmite on there, or overdoing it with the live feed. Anyway. Yeah, you know what? I just realized, like, I didn't even like this video myself. I didn't like my own video. Let me click that like button right there. Hit that thing! That's, who is that? He's a reactor. FTR? No. Maybe. I don't know. He's one of my favorite reactors. I like him. I like No Life Shack. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing though. That's like music and stuff. Marmite. Marmite reminds me of maritime. Maritime law. Okay. So it's been a while since I mentioned it. We might have different people in here now, so I'm going to mention it again. Marmite made me think of maritime, which made me think again of, I can't plug it enough, I found the channel. It's an old channel. There hasn't been any activity on it for for over a year. There's not a lot of videos on it, but it's a channel called A Bit Too Much to Think. And he has a series of 12 videos on there just about the sovereign citizen movement. And he breaks down in detail with like, actual court cases, actually using Black's Law Dictionary and all these other things to prove that they're wrong. And he does it in a fun and entertaining way. And I love his channel and I love watching his videos. I'm actually using bits and pieces of some of them in some of the stuff I'm working on now, trying to integrate some of his things. Like, instead of going myself and finding a court case and like grabbing a screen capture of the paper or whatever and putting it in one of my videos, I would rather go to one of his, because like I said, since his channel's been dead and he barely had any followers, I want to kind of plug his channel. Like, hey, this guy's talking about everything that we talk about every day, and he's really breaking it down in detail and in a fun and entertaining way. So kind of to just sort of, get his name out there some more. All right, just reading the comments. I don't know where I got lost in that conversation. Marmite Court. Yeah, like instead of only having jurisdiction on the ocean, they only have jurisdiction on a sandwich, on toast. I broke a law against toast. I toasted it too long and it got burnt. Now I'm under Marmite law. How do you burn toast? I mean, I know if your toaster's set wrong, but you just hit the button and eject it before it burns. It's not like I've never burnt toast, I'm just saying. Like, what's that old joke? No. See, that's the other thing. Like, because I always try to have a sense of humor about stuff. I'm always trying to tell jokes, but then I remember an old joke and think, yeah, I don't think it's appropriate. I don't know if I should tell that one. And then, oh, now I'm just stealing other people's material. It's not like I'm a stand-up comedian. I had an idea for a video too, where I'm still trying to write the actual material. Yes, doctor. I saw that one too. I can burn boiled water. Momite? Momite? My mom might? You don't pronounce the R? The R is silent? My mom might smack me upside the head if I tried to feed her some of that Marmite. Alright, Marmite. Or Marmite. Whatever, I ain't gonna eat it. I don't know, I wouldn't mind trying it, I guess. I don't cook much. Yeah, why would you disrespect your mother who gave you that name if you don't want to use that name? Well, that's... Oh, see, now that reminds me of this whole cis male thing, whatever they call it. So I was watching Ben Shapiro reacting to TikToks, to woke TikToks. And one of them was this guy who was saying, I'm a feminist, and my girl won't take my last name because we realize that there's no such thing as a female last name. Because her mom's last name she got from her husband, and even if she didn't, her last name came from her parents who got theirs from the man, and it always goes back to the man and the man and the man. How do you make holy water? By boiling the hell out of it. That's like, I had, when I was in school, I actually went to ultrasound school. And when I was in school for that, the doctor that was teaching the class says, he goes, I'm a good person because I don't have any hell in me because my parents beat all the hell out of me. So it's similar, boil the hell out of it. So that's good stuff. My son's all jealous because I caught a shiny Mr. Mime on Pokemon Go. I don't even know what that means. Dad, you got a shiny Mr. Mime. What? I don't know. I just saw him and caught him. I don't know. It's a game. Whatever. He always gets his ass beat every time I try to use him. So I'm not a big gamer. I don't have time to play video games. I'm always at work. Like I said, these last couple of days while my house is under construction, I've got nothing better to do. But I've tried to do a couple game streams in the past. The biggest problem that I have with gaming, at least on the internet, is that when I'm playing the game, I'm trying to focus on the game. I'm not trying to talk while I'm playing it, and then when I try to do both, I end up just screwing up in the game because I'm not concentrating on that. I'm concentrating on entertaining my audience, and just having a gameplay without commentary kind of defeats the purpose of, in my opinion. I mean, for me, anyone could do whatever they want, but I don't know, I just don't get into that. And yes, I was actually in, I played, it's on, I think it's on Marvel's channel. You'd have to go back. It was a few months ago, but I actually played Among Us with Marvel and Ragical, and I think Kick was in there. So yeah, it's fun. Playing games with the community, yeah. But I mean, that's not something that comes up very often, and I'm not very good at Among Us. I don't play it very often. And that's the other point. I don't play games a lot in the first place because I don't have a lot of time for that. I'm always working or hanging out with the kids, trying to do my thing. Let me see how I can do without these for a minute. And I still see. Yeah, I just got to get a little bit closer. They're starting to, because I don't really wear glasses. They're just my reading glasses. I got my collection. Uh, why don't these moops change their names legally? Oh, that's right, they don't believe in the law. Well, yeah. Well, okay, so they think they did change their names legally when they filled out their form that they signed in red ink and put their thumbprint on, and then went downtown and handed it to the janitor. That makes it official because I gave it to someone downtown. So I did legally change my name. In their opinion, that they think that their fraudulent documents are legit. So in their mind, they did legally change it because they filled out the form, the Moore form. And then the Moorish Temple, the way I understand it, is that it's, yeah, file it in the trash bin, exactly. The way I understand it, the actual Moorish Temple is like a division of Islam, but it's not the same as the, rise of the Moors type Moors, like the sovereign citizen Moors, the guys we're talking about. It's more of a religious thing than a political thing or whatever. They're not actually trying to just randomly walk into your house and decide it's theirs. I think they clarified that once. They try to clarify a bunch of crap. They don't have any say in anything. The fact that they got busted with all those guns and all their military outfit and everything, they're ready to fight. That's like, we were just going to a training exercise. A training for what? To overthrow the government? Like they're dangerous. And in a lot of ways, that's kind of the whole point of our whole movement, right? Is because their movement can get. The temple clarified that. Yes, exactly. The temple has tried to disassociate themselves from the sovereign citizen Moor movement. Absolutely. So yeah, that is true. But at the same time, whatever. The point is, again, the entire movement is in many cases dangerous. The Moors are kind of like at the top of my danger list, and then it starts going down a little, the travelers, but then all these things happen, right? Like we just recently had the guy who killed someone with his car. They tried to overthrow him. Yeah, January 6th. Yeah, that's a whole other thing too. But yeah, we had the traveler. I break them down, right? I don't just say sovereign citizen is sort of a blanket term, and then I categorize like you got your travelers, your Moors, your frauditors. In some cases, your Karens even fall under that umbrella. But the travelers were like lower on my danger list until I saw that video where the cop pulled the two guys over for not having their license, and then the son got out and shot the cop. And then I saw another video where a guy pulled a gun on a cop when he got pulled over, and they ended up stopping him, from killing anybody, but it turns out that he had just murdered two people or something like that. And that's why. And then again, we just recently had the guy who crossed the double yellow line with no license, no insurance, no registration, hits another car and kills somebody. So their danger level is climbing. The frauditors, I don't particularly see them as a danger to society so much as I think they're more dangerous to themselves. The perfect example would be Omaha, right? He's going out there dressed all in black, running up on the cops and reaching behind his back real fast. Why are you doing that? Oh, because my back itches. You're basically begging the cops to shoot you. You are literally doing everything you could possibly think of to make them want to kill you. Intentionally. Like, that's not necessarily dangerous to others, but that's dangerous to himself. And going out and sticking yourself in people's faces telling them that they're pieces of crap and swearing at them and cursing them out, is you're begging to get beat up. Frauditors are a pimple on society's ass. Yes, and unfortunately, and we kind of went over this a little bit yesterday too, is they're trying to get us more rights, and in the process, the only way the cops are going to be able to deal with these jerk heads is by making laws that actually limit our rights. How are you going to stop people from standing on the corner filming? Well, if you make laws that make it harder to stand on the corner and film, then that takes away from the rights that they're supposedly trying to get us all. Yeah. And that goes back to the whole idea that the narrative never actually matches the content. You watch their videos, you see what's happening, but if you listen to what they're saying, it's always something completely different. It's whatever supports their narrative, and it's never what actually happened. Oh, look, there's 20 cops here. Why would you call 20 cops on me? Well, because you kept pushing and pushing and pushing and asking for supervisors and not cooperating and this and that, so they had all these cops come. And then when they arrive, you're like, look at you wasting taxpayers' money bringing all these cops for a guy with a camera. I'm just a guy with a camera. I didn't do anything except for keep pushing and pushing and pushing until all these cops showed up. Your actions are what caused them to be there, and then you're going to, the narrative is that you're going to pretend like, oh, there's no reason for all these cops to come after me. I don't understand. But you always skip the part that in the video itself shows that you pushed it to that point. Welcome to America, kids. But I guess this is going on in other countries now, too. It just keeps growing. Fun. All right. What's going on? All of a sudden, I don't see anything happening in the chat. Did I lose something, or just nobody's talking right now? Did I drop? Am I still on? Could I get a 1 in the chat if I'm still on? Oh, no. Oh, wait, here we go. Here we go. Sorry, just listening. No, that's fine. I just, yeah, you guys don't have to be active in the comment section. Just got scared because, like I said, sometimes this drops. And I just wanted to make sure that I didn't get dropped. Or that you guys didn't get dropped. But I see ones popping up. Let's talk about the platypus. Okay, this is Perry the platypus. He was on a TV show called Dr. Doofenshmirtz. No, that wasn't the name of the show. But that was... the guy who always fought Perry, because Perry was a spy, whose whole job in life was to get Doofenshmirtz. If they only read more of Poster 7, they'd know they were allowed to call as many supervisors anytime they wished. Yes, Simon. I've been over and over and over this. I went to tell my mom the holy water joke. Yes. Boil the hell out of it. I've been over the Poster 7 thing so many times because these idiots always use it every time as an excuse. And I actually got in an argument with, I think it was Broken System, Broken System. I don't know. I don't want to, advertise their channels. But I got in an argument with one of these guys about Poster 7. And he was telling me, and I covered this yesterday too, but like I said, sometimes I feel like we get repetitive, but they're so repetitive, they keep bringing up the same thing over and over, so we got to keep addressing the same thing over and over. He was arguing with me about Poster 7, basically saying that and again, that's the watchdog community, after the whole Virgo thing, that's not, whatever, bootlicker brigade, whatever you want to call us now, our community, that our interpretation of Poster 7 is just completely insane. Like, it doesn't even make any sense to them. And it's like, well, my interpretation of poster 7 is the words that are written on poster 7. It's not an interpretation. I'm going by what it says. How could you tell me that my interpretation of poster 7 is wrong when my interpretation of poster 7 isn't an interpretation? It's what it says. It says this, therefore it means this, because that's what it says. So we argued that for a while, and like I said, their arguments are circular. Not just when they're talking to the cops and the judges, but even when they're talking to me. It always leads back to the, oh, well, that's just because you're brainwashed into believing that. It's because you're a bootlicker. And they love going back to that. The only reason why you think poster 7 says what poster 7 actually says is because you're a bootlicker. No. The reason why I think poster 7 says what it actually says is because it actually says it. I don't know, man. Every time I start getting to that edge, it's like I never know if I want to like cross it and actually go off on a rant, because that might be very entertaining, but then on the other hand, I don't want to push it too far and make it where it's like, whoa, okay, this guy's going nuts. I want to get out of here. But yeah, I get into it. I get deep. That's because you don't understand and you stand under. Yep, I got a whole video about that too. It's called Understand. Oh, that's what it was. I washed my hair with Dr. Squatch. There's my promo. Give me a sponsorship. Let's see. You don't understand, you stand under. Right. So the point that I made in my stand under video was that what was it? It was an extremely short video. I'm trying to. I could probably remember exactly the whole thing right now. I'll keep my hair on. That's why I took the hat off. Keep my hat on. Is that what you're saying? Okay. If understand means to stand under, then by your own logic, wouldn't motor vehicle mean a vehicle with a motor? White Cliffs of Dover. Ooh, this is live. Greetings from the White Cliffs of Dover. Yes, indeed. God save the Queen. Let's see. I saw the Jack up there. G'day, Gary. Oh. G'day, mate. Shrimp on the bobby, all that. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I've been trying not to get too crazy into these, flipping out on these rants going off about, like with poster 7 and stuff. But it's hard to keep my cool sometimes, man. And again, I'm kind of still on the line. Like, part of me wants to just start going off on these rants, like, because I think it'd be entertaining. But then on the other hand, it's like I don't want to, make everyone go, hey, oh. The Queen's got a bad back. She sprained her back yesterday. Oh. Well, what is she now, like 147 years old or something? I mean, I don't mean to be rude. I listen to the Sex Pistols. Leave me alone. Never mind the Bullocks. But yeah, no, of course, I don't want anyone to get hurt. She sprained her back. I'm sorry about that. Too much sex, in my humble opinion. Not enough pistols. Or she had too much sex, and that's how she threw her back out. She's 94. Wow, that's great though. It's so interesting too because of her age. Like, because I love history, and like hearing all these stories about all of these crazy historical things that she was involved in. Sex Pistols. Well, hey, A Sex Pistol is a, you know, like Kiss and their Love Gun, right? It's the same thing. Sex Pistol, Love Gun. Um, anyway, yeah, they were something else, man. LOL, Dr. Q. Yep. So, they use that instead of bullets. Um, we all know that. 10cc. I'm not in love, so don't forget. Just the simple fears I'm going through. I gotta do chores so I can watch football later. Go ahead, Sam. I am. Doll Bears. Do your chores, man. It was nice seeing you again. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I appreciate all of you guys, man. Like, um, anyone who came in after I already went through all this, I'll say it again. Yesterday's live stream was just a test to see if my equipment would allow me to do so, and now that I know that it works, I'm trying it again. And so I definitely appreciate everyone who shows up. Absolutely, it's fun. Like I said before, I love Seahawks. Seattle? Unless you live in Seattle, I don't think so. If you live there, I'll give you a pass. But oh my goodness. Well, again, at least they're not in my division, so that's fine. Um, as long as you're not talking about the Packers or Green Bay. Now, as far as the Lions go, I think if we all everyone that's in this room right now could probably beat the Detroit Lions as a team. The Queen with her bad back could beat the Lions. Let's see. Sorry, she's 95. Okay. Well, still, again, that's. I used to live there, but I don't like the Patriots. Yeah. Patriots. Well, I mean, I think that's who the Bears beat in '85 at the Super Bowl. Oh, yes, that was great. Here, now, I actually saw in '84 what ultimately became the '85 Bears play the New England Patriots in preseason at Soldier Field. And then they went ahead and, not long afterwards, that January, they beat them in the Super Bowl. So that was pretty cool. And I remember, I'll never forget this. It was just one of those moments because my dad went out of his way to drill it into my head. And it worked because I still remember to this day, like I could close my eyes and put myself right there. He said, son, look, you see that guy right there with the big number 34 on his back? That's Walter Payton. Pay attention and never forget that you saw him live, that you were at a game that Walter Payton played in and you were there. And he kept pointing out to me, you gotta remember this. If you don't remember anything about the experience, remember that. And that's exactly what happened. I don't necessarily remember going to the game. I don't remember the game itself, but I could close my eyes and see myself sitting exactly in the seat I was sitting in Soldier Field, looking at the field, watching Walter Payton. So I always appreciated that he did that he kind of, drilled that into my head so that I would know to try and remember that, and I did. It worked. Now I do that to my kids, and they're just like, what? What are you talking about? No, you have to understand, man. This is a historic event. You got to remember it. Yeah, I'm going to go play video games on my Xbox. And now, I'm on the fence with this. Tell me your opinion on this. My son is begging me for a VR headset for Christmas, but I'm still on the fence with VR. I don't know if first of all, I'm not sure that the technology is even at the point yet that it's worth investing in at this point. Excuse me, I don't have a ton of money, so to spend something like that much, and yeah, I know it's not that much compared to other things I could get them, but then I got to get the games to go with it, and then I got to do this and that, and then on top of that, just the whole idea of him locking himself into the virtual world. And now there's some stuff been going on with Zuckerberg and Facebook where he's trying to make more of a virtual reality world. It's not worth it yet. See, that's what I was thinking. I just see these clips of let him work for it. Well, he's 11. But yeah, well, the thing is, I was trying to decide if I should get him a Switch or a VR headset because they're about the same price. And he's begging me for the VR headset. But at the same time, all he does is play Pokemon, so I'm like, Switch would be perfect for him, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just buy him an advent calendar and tell him to shut up. Um, yes. Yeah, it feels sick watching people play it. Yeah, it doesn't seem, I don't know, man. And like he keeps telling me, Dad, the only reason you don't want to buy me a VR headset is because you saw all these movies that said that VR is bad because you're not dealing with the real world. So, well, that's exactly what's happening. People have no social skills anymore, and because they're always in the virtual world, and locking yourself into a virtual headset is going to make it even less. I don't know. They're just going against social skills of the human race in general. I always hear all these people talking about, well, every generation hates the younger generation. I don't hate, but yeah, there you go. Give them a bicycle. Let them get outside and do something. Always elsewhere or on their bloody phones. hmm And again, the idea of like, oh, the older generation always has issues with the younger generation, and I get that. I absolutely understand that. But there are certain things that are going on now that just seem like they actually are crossing the line. Like when I look at history, I always think of it in terms of the generation gap is a normal thing. It's part of what happens with every generation, right? In the old days, you know, you had the people who grew up listening to jazz. And then when these kids were listening to rock and roll, they didn't get it. Like, what's this Elvis crap? What about, you know, jazz? You know, this rock and roll is too much. And then, you know, the people who grew up listening to that, they hear punk rock and they're like, whoa, heavy metal. What is this crap nonsense? But they loved Elvis when he was, you know, getting canceled off of TV because, yeah, cancel culture. Yeah, Elvis got canceled for shaking his hips on TV. Right? Like back then. But then the next generation, like, oh my God, you have these people doing horrible stuff compared to what he was doing. And there's always that gap, that generation gap, where what the kids are into now is too much for the older generation. But it's getting to the point now where sexually explicit, right? Exactly, because he was shaking his hips. But the point is that, like, I'll just use music as an example, but it's not just music. It's like society in general, where it has become today. Like, the argument when I was young, like my parents' generation, like my dad loved Elvis, my mom loved Tom Jones. She actually took me to a Tom Jones concert once. That dude can sing, man. Anyway, auto-tune? What the heck is that? Anyway, so, like, when my parents would not understand the heavy metal I was listening to as a kid, there was still something that I could point to musically and say, like, me, not us, us, us. Right. It's, yeah, exactly. You don't believe me? Look at the Silence Boy video. The music, when I was young, okay, so I'm going to break it down like this. Melody, okay? Heavy metal, punk rock, all of these genres that were big when I was younger, they had melody. Maybe it was a fast melody, maybe it was a heavy melody, maybe it was a hard melody, maybe it was a crazy melody, but there was melody. Now, it's all beat. I'm all about that bass, no treble, right? It has nothing. There is no melody. There's no melodic phrasing. That's the difference between having a drum machine and having a drummer. A drummer could throw some melodic phrasing in there, some melody, not just and then the keyboards, and then if there is a melody, it's usually sampled from an old song that actually had a melody. Um, so there's no melodic phrasing, and then the auto tune, like, you don't even have to be able to sing anymore. You just have to look good on camera and be able to follow the system. And in other words, what I'm trying to say is the generation gaps before, in the past, right, when it came to music, was okay, you don't understand rock and roll, you understand jazz, but I can look at rock and roll and break it down musically and on paper, looking at the notes and see like how you can do the same thing with your jazz to classical. I could do the same thing with my rock and roll to your jazz. I could do the same thing with my heavy metal to your rock and roll, whatever it is. The music was music. Wait a minute, what's that? Look for the warning, disciple. Okay. Oh, look, yes. But anyway, so yes, modern music, like, all right, when they would tell me that the music I was listening to, that's not music, I could always show them, like actually show them proof that it actually is music, it's just a different type of music. But now, most modern music, when you say it's not music, the definition of music is going to include beat and melody. It's just beat with no melody, so it really is not music. It's just background noise, which is why Lady Gaga is so ironic, because her name came from, yeah, Simon, I figured it out. At first I thought you were saying something else, but yes. Anyway, I'm not saying that every band or every group or every artist that exists right now is crap. That's not my point. My point is using music as an example of overall how the generation gap now is getting to a point where it's not just, oh, you guys are doing this or you guys are doing that because we're older and we don't understand the kids today. No, it's because the kids today really are going on a completely different level. Like, you know, if you look back through the previous century, right, it was, you know, crack. Before that, it was just regular cocaine. And before that, it was Radio Gaga, Queen. Yes, that reminds me of what I was going to say. But the point is, like, and it was marijuana in the 60s. And before that, it was alcohol. Like, it was the same thing, just a different version. Like, people were having drug addiction, but it was just a different drug this time. You know, but the problems of every generation was still the same. Now it's completely different. The thing I was trying to say about Radio Gaga is that if you actually listen to the lyrics of that song, one of the lines in the song is, "Don't let it be background noise for all the girls and boys," right? Which is exactly what it is now. My kids can't even name the groups that they listen to. That's how important music is to them. It's just background noise. They have it on all the time. But when I was their age, I could tell you who Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, you know, John Paul, George Ringo, Elvis Presley. I could tell you, you know, the Who, Pete Townsend, you know, the Stones, you know, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards. I mean, I music was so important. It wasn't just the stuff you have playing in the background so you don't get bored. It was, you put the headphones on, you close your eyes and you get into the music and you feel it. And like, I don't know how many days I got through just because I put on the headphones and listened to the right song. You know, the whole thing that got me into heavy metal was if I got angry, instead of taking out my anger by actually hurting somebody or something, I'd stick on my headphones and I just... Best musical I ever saw was We Will Rock You. Yeah, see, Freddie Mercury, there you go. Yeah, those... music was so important back in the day. And again, it wasn't even just, you know, whether it was rock and roll. You know, I listened to jazz, classical, all of it. I even, Okay, the one musical genre that I'm kind of is country and western, whatever. I'm not saying that I hate it. All right, my problem with country is that it reached a certain point. I would say late '60s, early to mid '70s. Like, if you look at any genre of music, it always seems to evolve and evolve and evolve. But with country, it seems like it evolved to a certain point and then kind of got stuck there. And any changes that have happened to it since then haven't really been further evolutions of the genre. It's just been throwing a rock guitar on top, or throwing some distortion on the guitar, or adding a little bass to it, or just taking bits and pieces of other things and just throwing it on top of what's already a stale. So I like all the old groups, right? Johnny Cash, you know, Hank Williams Jr., all that. We got both kinds of music, country and western. Don't get me started on the Blues Brothers. That's one of my favorite movies. But I got so mad because I had it on VHS tape and I used to watch it over and over and over and over and over and over. I had that movie memorized. I could recite every line. And then when they invented these things, these fancy pants things called DVDs, I bought one of the Blues Brothers because I wanted it on DVD, but I didn't know that what I was buying was the special edition with all of the deleted scenes put back in, and it completely changes the movie. Like, it ruined it for me. I'm watching it, and every time there was an added scene, it wasn't like, oh, cool bonus footage. It was like, wait, what? What? Huh? Elwood has a job? He works in a glue factory and that's why he had the glue in his bag? Why did we need to know that? And why does he have to have a job? I like the idea that he's a professional criminal. They both are. That's the thing. And then with the car in the original movie, they don't say this, but they keep saying, we're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God. So at the end, when they finally reach their destination, and they're about to give the money to Steven Spielberg to save the kids, as soon as they get out of the car, it falls apart. Insinuating, because they're on a mission from God, that God is what held the car together until they reached the destination. But then when you watch the special edition of the Blues Brothers, it's because they keep the car parked under power lines. And the power lines is what gave the car its supernatural powers. What? I mean, you could, whether you believe in or have anything with the religious thing or whatever, the idea of it makes sense. The idea, like, if you, whether or not you believe in that, the idea of there being a supernatural influence makes sense. But the idea that it just became a magic car because the power lines are near it, it ruined the whole thing for me. So I hate the DVD of the Blues Brothers. But I like the movie. All right. So that being said, where are we at? Anybody got any peaked and remained the same? Exactly. Anything anyone wants to discuss specifically? Oh, 5G now. Oh, yeah. That the 5G that's going to activate, I'm waiting for the 5G to activate my microchip they inserted when they gave me the vaccine. I wonder what it's going to do to me. I hope it isn't anything bad. Yes, Simon, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you, Simon. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be fun when the government activates my microchip. Maybe that's why I can't type. Yep, I got that COVID vaccine now. Oh, wait, did I say the C word? Am I going to get canceled now? Demonetize my channel? Well, it's not monetized yet, but you know what I mean. Looks like the viewers are going down. Everybody's leaving to watch football. Um, the little gray men will read your mind. Yeah, old school. I need one of those fancy pants. I gotta line this thing with tin foil. You just gave me a great idea. I'll line this with tin foil, and then change it up a little bit, and then I could keep them out of my head. That would be fantastic. Oh boy. What was the thing I saw with the tinfoil hat recently? I don't remember what it was. I like the. You ever see that Weird Al video? Aluminum foil, foil. Eat it when you're ready. Oh man, tinfoil hats. I gotta keep the gray men out of my head. So let's see. So what have we learned today? The government is run by lizards, disguised as humans, little gray aliens. Peter, gay man to gray man personally. Oh, prefer gay men to gray men. Yeah, the gray man. I don't know if you guys know who the gray man was, but he was definitely not nice. he was not nice. I'd like to lock him in a room with Silence Boy. Yes, I agree, Gary. I'm sorry, that just reminded me of, because that's what they used to call Albert Fish, was the gray man. And that dude was messed up. Like, hardcore bad. Do you collaborate with other watchdogs? I'm going to. I've been on a couple of live feeds with Hank's Corner. He's probably actually going live right now. He always starts at noon. I've been a guest on a couple of his feeds. As far as doing collaborations, I'm working on a thing right now. One of my videos, if you go back and look, is called the Sovereign Citizen Awards. And it's things like the infamous P. Barnes. I gave him the award for best tasing. There's a window smash, best window smash award for one of the cops that did it with his bare hands. Things like that. And it was a fun video and it was good. But right now I'm working on the 2021 Sovereign Citizen Awards. And I've actually already gotten a few people to agree to it. I want to have, like, when you watch like the Oscars or whatever, and they have celebrities come out to say, and the nominees are blah blah blah, and the winner is so and so. But I want to have, like, Schrodinger comes out and reads the nominees, and then, you know, Kit comes out and he reads the nominees for the next category, and like those would be my celebrity guests. And like I said, I already got a couple people to agree to be involved, so I think it's going to happen. So there is a big collaboration coming up. That's definitely. And then the only other thing, other than being in their chats, that I've actually done with them was playing Among Us with Marvel Girl and Radical and Kick, and I don't remember who else was in the room at the time. Maybe Clifford Reynolds. AMG could do the whispering. Yeah, why not? I haven't spoken to her yet about being involved, but I think I could get her. Because she knows who I am. Again, we've never actually spoken real life, but every time I log on to one of her feeds, like, oh, Hez, how you doing? You know, so she always notices it's me and acknowledges that I'm in there. So obviously she's aware of, you know, my existence. So I think I could probably get her on board. At the moment, I got Van Balian. I love him, man. He's great. Yeah, definitely Van. And I kind of like him in particular too, because we're getting a take from someone outside of this country, right? So we're seeing the sort of more European, UK, he's from the UK, right? England. A face for radio and a voice like nails on a chalkboard. You should check out Memory too. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, anything that, all the help I can get. Yorkshire. There you go. Um, oh, you got Yorkshire. We got New York. Oh, look at that. It's almost like we came here from England or something. I like York peppermint patties. Okay, I don't know why that. Degenerate Watch did the P. Burns Awards a while back. Yep, I saw that. That was, yeah, that's exactly the same type of thing. But I mean, if you haven't seen my Sovereign Citizen Awards video, definitely check it out. One of the things I did was I played a couple different characters in it. But that's why, like I said, this time I want to try and actually get other watchdogs. I could probably even get to ask Degenerate Watch if he'd want to be involved. That would be, actually a collaboration where we'd work on making it together, because I'm already editing it. It's just a matter of punching in the pieces with the special guests if I can, get them involved. The only ones I've got who I've actually spoken to about it were Kick and Unclean, and they both seem to be into it. So we'll see how it goes. The hard part is Yorkshire. Yeah, like those terriers, right? That came from Yorkshire. I know. I sometimes because yeah, Yorkshire Terrier, Yorkshire. Yorkshire. I just thought of the Shire because of Lord of the Rings, man. Kind of like there's a lot of words that are pronounced different, especially names of places. What's a big one? I'm from Illinois, but everyone outside of Illinois pronounces the S. It's, hey, you're from Illinois, son. No, I'm from Illinois. Yorkshire pudding. That's another one. I remember your soft set of words. Thank you, Gary UK. So Yorkshire there was making me think of way up there in the Klondike. For some reason, it made me think of the commercials. They used to say, "What would you do for a Klondike bar?" And get binary and tunes to do the background and the intros. I could ask them. I did it first. Simon, the Sovereign Citizen Awards came out a long time ago. Degenerate Watch just did the P. Barnes Awards. So if anything, he'd be stepping on my toes. But no, yeah, I don't, I'm not saying, but I mean, since you said that, it's like, well, no, wait a minute. Like, that's, I wouldn't be ripping him off. But I'm not accusing him of ripping me off. I'm just saying, you said it. I'm just responding to what you said. I didn't mean to come off like, I don't care. Use my videos, mirror them. Go ahead. It's great. It's just more publicity for me. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, what would you do for a Klondike bar? I always hated that song because my answer is, what would you do for a Klondike bar? I'd go to the store and I'd buy one. That seems simple enough to me. Like, why go through any trouble for a stupid vanilla flavored ice cream? Let me repeat that. Not vanilla ice cream. Vanilla flavored ice cream covered in hard chocolate. What am I going to do for that? Just go get some ice cream and put some chocolate on it. Like, what's the big deal? Klondike bars. Then I think of candy, and then we just had Halloween. My son, he's 11. So he went trick-or-treating. And so, I mean, it's early November, right? So this is, 15 days ago. So the kids went trick-or-treating. My 11-year-old separated all of his Kit Kats. Like, he went through all of his candy and got all of his Kit Kats and put them in a separate bag. And then we all went to bed that night. Woke up the next day, he's sick as a dog. Oh, my tummy, what's it? Turns out that when we all went to bed, he didn't go to sleep. He stayed up and ate all of his Kit Kats. Every single one in one night. that he got trick-or-treating, and he was so sick the next day. I told him, that's why, now you know, that's why we tell you not to eat all that candy. So hopefully he learned his lesson. The same kid tried to eat an entire box of tacos from Taco Bell one time too. Well, dude, what are you doing? You can't do that. You're gonna get sick. Sure enough, oh, I ate too many tacos. Yeah. Now, see, I love a real taco. Nobody in my family likes them, so I very rarely am able to like make them properly because they won't eat them. And I'm cooking for the whole family, so I have to whatever. Look. Corn tortilla, chopped steak, chili powder on the steak, onions, diced onions, and cilantro. Boom, done. Pour some hot sauce on top. Let me tell you something about hot sauce. If you're going to buy hot sauce, I don't care what kind you like. If you're going to buy hot sauce, look at the aisle you're in. If it's the ketchup aisle, you're not buying hot sauce. You're buying spicy ketchup. That's why it's in the ketchup aisle. Fry's chocolate cream, the first chocolate confectionery. Kit Kat. I don't know. I don't know too much about the history of chocolate. I just know that they supposedly make good stuff in Switzerland. We got not Hershey, because that's in Pennsylvania. Which one is it? There's one of the chocolate manufacturers, like a big nationwide global chocolate. Nestle. We got Nestle right down the street. Cilantro US, coriander UK. All right. The cilantro are the leaves. The coriander are the seeds, and then you could eat the stem. The entire plant is edible. That's one of the things that's beautiful about the cilantro. Let's see. Fresh chocolate cream, because I don't like those. I think you are correct. Yeah, cilantro, coriander, they definitely come from the same plant, but they are different parts of the plant. But again, that's one of the reasons I grow my own cilantro, or I did. And again, you could eat the whole plant. It's beautiful. Where you could literally eat the stems and everything and just chop it up and grind it. I took, when I harvested my cilantro, when I grew my own, I ended up planting way more than I needed. I had like a huge amount. So I harvested it all, the whole thing, stems and seeds and everything, and chopped it all up, ground it down, and then put it in a bag, and then just threw it in the freezer. And whenever I needed some cilantro, I'd just go in there, grab a handful of the powder, and throw it on my taco. So good. Yum, 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 yum. Very delicious. Cilantro was a loud singer. You know Frank Cilantro, part of the Brat Pack? That's funny. That's funny. Curry needs coriander leaf added at the end. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of curry, but definitely I agree. If I am going to eat it, then you do that, and that'll give it a little oomph. That extra bit you need. So, I used to work I worked at a liquor store that was owned by a couple Indian guys. I mean, like from India, like actual Indians. And they also owned their own Indian restaurant. And, I used to go there and they'd let me eat there or whatever. The first time I ever went there, the chef, because he knew me and knew that I, worked for the owner and all that. So he says, hey, you like spicy food? I'm like, yeah. He's like, have you ever had Indian food before? I'm like, well, not really. He's like, don't worry about it. I'll make you something special. It'll be great. So he went out of his way to make this thing. I don't know what the heck he put in there, but I took one bite, and my nose was running, and my eyes were watering, and my cheeks were flush. It was the spiciest thing I've. It had to be a million on the Scoville scale. It was insane. Um, it was crazy. Many types of curry, some good, some not so. Yeah, I guess it all depends on who makes it, how they make it, and what they put in it, right? But I guess that could go for just about anything except for sea shallots. There's one thing I'm allergic to, and it's scallops, sea scallops. That's I don't know what it is. I can eat shellfish all day. I could eat a million shrimp, lobster tails, whatever. But scallops, I'm almost as bad with them as I am with cats. They make me so sick. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's right. Um, I'm going to drink more coffee. So, what do we got? So, again, you got to make sure that you watch my interview with Hezokuai. For all you people who didn't see it, because last time I checked, it only had a couple hundred views. I got over 1,000 subs, and it's great. Everyone loves the cow. Allegedly, curry in India is nothing like what we have. Well, that's I love it. It's not necessarily spicy. He was playing with it. Well, yeah, obviously he did it on purpose just to mess with me. Yes, but it was spicy. Actually, the stuff was really good. Once they got past the fact that he made it extra spicy on purpose just to mess with me. But yeah, what you were saying, curry in India is different than what we have. Like I was saying earlier, I think that's true with almost every country. When you get their authentic food and then you actually go to that country and try it, it's completely different. There's certain things I'll never even think about though. Like apparently they eat a lot of weird stuff in Japan, like live octopus while it's still wriggling on your tongue. No, thank you. They get their suction cup stuck in your throat, and you rip the tentacles out. I don't even get the point. It just sounds nasty. Had Momo from local Nepalese last Friday. I got a good restaurant in Blackpool. I watched the Hezokuai video too. All right, Gary, did you like it? Got a thumbs up. I love it. Yeah, that's that one is one of my most recent low view counts. I've noticed this too. I'm not sure. Maybe some of you guys could give me some ideas what you think might help. I've noticed that whenever I dual post a video on YouTube and then immediately post a link to it on Reddit, Our Sovereign Citizens, those always get more hits. Blowfish is something I will never, ever eat. I don't care if it's the most delicious thing in the world. I'm not going to take that chance. It's too dangerous. Yeah, way too dangerous. What was I just talking about? Oh yeah, I was asking you guys. So I noticed that whenever I post a link to any of my videos on Reddit, I get a lot more views. Are there any other things that you guys can think of that I might get more views if I post it on, like I said, like the way Reddit works for me? Like I tried Twitter, but I have like no followers on Twitter, so it doesn't do me any good to put it up there. Tried Discord, but I kind of went over that earlier. I don't even really know how to use Discord or what good it does to post my stuff on there because I don't even know what I'm doing. Hey Simon, what do you mean? Fugu too. Sorry, it just reminded me of something else with an F and a U in it. That's like Kick. I actually told him to kick rocks once. But obviously he got the joke, so that's good. Is it called Everest, Gary? Most are down here. If there's barracks or garrisons, it seems that it's Nepal, Napoli. I find their food more delicious than BIR and serving staff more charming. Is blowfish one where you have to be careful which bit you eat? Yes, Gary. Blowfish, um, to be safe, it has to be prepared extremely specifically. Like whoever the chef is, better be very well trained in how to prepare it. Because especially if you get the sushi version where it's raw, they have to very carefully just pull out the small bits that actually are edible and not poisonous. To me, I just don't get the point. I mean, maybe it tastes great. I don't know, but just the idea of eating a poisonous fish, just because it's poisonous, like that's why it's such a big deal. That's what I got out of it. I've never really heard anyone really say that it has this insane flavor. I mean, yeah, they like the way it tastes, but it isn't the great flavor that is the big deal. It's that it's a poisonous fish that you're not supposed to eat. Ugh. I like salmon. I not baked, but broiled. I like broiled salmon. It numbs your mouth. Well, I mean, I got cough drops that'll do that. My cough drops are the strongest ones you can get, actually. They're really, really good. Or you could go to the dentist. That'll numb your mouth real good, and then you could talk about it. So that's always fun, getting the Novocaine. I'm going to check the score of the Bears game. Are they playing today, or last week was Monday, right? Or did they start at 3? It's just one part that it is, but it's rather poisonous. Now imagine how many people did it take to work out what was safe to eat with it. Let me tell you something, Simon. I've thought a lot about that in general. Not even just with the fish, but like just in general, the idea of there are certain things that we know you can eat and we know you can't. How, over the years, how did people eventually figure out which stuff was good and which stuff isn't? I mean, I know obviously over time, logically you could figure out how they did it, but there are certain things, like you say, like when it comes to something like that, how did you figure out, how did the human race in general realize, oh, well, wait, if you eat this piece, it's not poisonous, but this piece is, and it's crazy. Fisherman's Friends are great. Absolutely. I love that stuff. Sorry, I'm just looking up the Bears score real quick. I think they're playing right now, or do they start at 3 today? I don't remember. Let's see. Embassy in Japan. Nice. Red kidney beans. There you go. I make chili out of those. Let's see. I like to make chili with like a lot of different kinds of beans, actually. Whoa, what happened? Okay, November 14th. Oh, is this a bye week for the Bears? Yeah. November 21st, I see their next game. I think this is the bye. So that's good. I'm not missing anything. It's not like I would be if I was watching it. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, trial and error. Okay, so talking about that, not to get into like this whole thing, like making the thing, whatever, like a religious thing, but just the idea of that, it always occurred to me, 41 million pounds to the local council. Oh, well, I guess that was nice of her. And no relatives, or just didn't care about giving them money. Anyway, so I've thought about this a lot too. Like the idea, whatever you believe, is one thing, but just in general, the idea of the story of Adam and Eve and the forbidden fruit and whatever it is, depending on your, they always say an apple, but it doesn't actually say an apple in the original text. That's a whole other thing. But the idea that the snake tempted her to eat the apple, I always thought, well, like, if there actually was any truth to that story, maybe whatever the forbidden fruit was something that they just assumed was poisonous and humans didn't eat, and then they saw a snake eat it and it didn't kill them, which made them realize it wasn't poisonous, which is what made them decide to eat it. And that's what, I don't know, it just logically it makes sense if there's any truth to that story at all, that maybe that's where it came from. I hope they built a hospital with that money. Yeah, 41 million pounds, that's a lot of bread, man. I don't remember exactly what the exchange rate is right now, but it's definitely more than 41 million American. That's like Dan TDM kind of money. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. What else we got? 10,000 each for her home helpers. 10,000 pounds each. Okay. Again, she said she did leave instructions what it is to be used for. All right. Well, that was nice. Like I said, I want to say that was nice of her, but I mean, I don't know what those instructions said. Maybe they said give it to Jeremy DeWitt. But yeah, I don't know. And what's with Jeremy DeWitt supporters? Like, I don't get that. Like, I mean, I guess I do. $1.15 to $1 or to a pound. Okay. Because, like, I was thinking about the idea of Jeremy DeWitt supporters, and it does. I do get it. Like, if you were the people who hired him, then you love what he did because he did exactly what you hired him to do. But if you're one of the people who he was stopping, right, so that the people who hired him could get through, he's impersonating a police officer basically to stop you. Like, from your point of view, he's horrible for doing this stuff. But if you're one of the people who actually hired him, you love him because he did what you asked him to do. He stopped everyone else. But you can't just stop people when you don't have the authority to do that. And the whole Jeremy DeWitt case is crazy. And then that cop got in big trouble for busting him for having a gun-looking taser or whatever it was he had. It was a gun that fires pepper spray balls or something. I don't know. That's a whole nother thing too. I wanna make a pepper spray bottle, but I wanna fill it with California Reaper juice, and then spray that at Silence Boy. See how he likes that. This reminds me of yesterday. I was watching Mrs. Schrodinger's cat smoking her Too Bloody Noisy. Yeah. Video funeral with Jeremy DeWitt as your escort. Yeah, way too much noise. Anyway, yes, Mrs. Cat was Nicole, whatever, Overby. She was hitting her vape on a live feed last night. It just made me want to smoke. Like, yeah. Because she was hitting it hard. Because she was saying, I guess she was having a Nick fit or whatever, and she doesn't do nicotine anymore. I'm not going to tell you somebody else's whole life story. I don't, it's none of my business what she's doing. It's just what she said on the feed. Yeah, with all of his alarms and sirens and everything going. Yeah, vaping. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't know. I don't think the technology's existed long enough that we know how much damage it could actually do long term to your lungs. I know that this is bad, but I know it's been around long enough that I know exactly what it can do. With vaping, we as society in general still aren't sure exactly what the long-term results are going to be. So I don't want to take that risk. I probably shouldn't be taking this risk either, but problems. First world problems, right? And that, again, it's what's good about this is it always comes back around. Like, first world problems makes me think, well, here we go, like, You really think that uh, somebody who's starving in this third world country is worried about whether or not, like, would even consider the idea of walking up to somebody on the street and swearing at them and cursing them out just to get a reaction to make a few YouTube dollars? Like, would that even be a thing that exists in their minds on any level? Like, talk about first world problems. Oh no, the cops asked me for ID. And? Well, they violated my rights. How? They asked for my ID. What? How? And how did they make that connection? I mean, legitimately. Like, hey, somebody explain that to me. How is a police officer asking you for ID a violation of your rights? Not him sticking his nightstick in your throat, holding you down and ripping the ID out of your pocket against your will. Not that. Just saying, oh, may I see your ID? How is that? Just him saying those words a violation of your rights? I mean, I get that they're wrong about it, but I mean, I don't even understand how they make that connection in their brains that it is. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'll be right back. Told you. Think yourself lucky they didn't beat the crap out of you. Oh, you mean the cops? Yes. Yeah, yes. See, that's my whole point. And I was talking about this yesterday. One of my big pet peeves with this whole group is the whole walk of shame deal. Because if a cop does the walk of shame, what does that actually mean? Like, if you really break it down. Okay, so I got my camera. I'm filming this cop walking away from me. And I'm yelling at him as he's walking away. You're doing the walk of shame. If the cop's doing the walk of shame, that means he failed the audit. Which means that he violated your rights. If he violated your rights, if he's a tyrant, how is it physically possible for you to be filming him as he's walking away? One, you're still filming. So what did he do that he violated your rights? What did he do that he's doing the walk of shame? How is it physically possible for you to still be filming him walk away if he violated your rights? You're still filming. And you're still yelling at him, telling him he's doing the walk of shame. How did he violate your freedom of speech if you're still yelling, you're doing the walk of shame? Obviously, he's letting you do your First Amendment. He's letting you say those things, even as he's leaving. So the whole altercation is over at that point. So how is he in shame? How is that the walk of shame? What if you're still filming him? That means he didn't beat the crap out of you. That means he didn't beat you with his nightstick. He didn't handcuff you to a post and beat you into a coma. He didn't snatch your camera from you. He didn't force you to turn it off. And he didn't tell you to stop talking and force you to stop talking. Because if you're still filming him and still talking and saying you're doing the walk of shame, then that means he didn't do any of those things. So what did the cop do? He asked for your ID. Oh, baby. It's all done to get their viewers to like and or subscribe. It's a money thing, nothing else, in my humble opinion. If they were tyrants, your camera would be doing a colonoscopy. I absolutely agree with both. Absolutely. Yes, the whole idea that they're just doing it for the money, that is obvious. But for me, and one of the things that I'm trying to, one of the whole reasons why I'm into this whole scene at all, fighting against, is, and I talked about this earlier and I mentioned it yesterday too, the fact that their narrative How did I get a dislike on this? Bungholes. It was probably a frauditor. Anyway, um, the whole idea that they're doing it to make money, I get, but for me, it's the idea that their narrative never matches the actual content in the video. But if you look at the comment section under their videos, their fans actually believe in what they are saying. And that's the problem. It's like, no, you have to watch the video. Forget what the person who's doing the audit is saying is happening, and look at what's happening. If you turn the sound off, what you're going to see is a jerk harassing people. But if you listen with the sound on and go by what they're saying, those people are harassing them because they're just standing there filming and minding their own business, which of course is never true if you actually look at the content of the video. But if you go by what they're saying, which is what their fans do, if you read the comments, Sarah, yeah, look, I can't believe that cop did that to you. The cop didn't do that. The person said he did it in the video, and that's what they're going by, is what they say. Yes, absolutely. The majority of these people, I believe, I mean, I haven't done any actual, research into this idea, but just from hearing the stories, even in their own videos, where they talk about their court cases and this and that, just going by things that they've said, it looks like the majority of the people on that side are people who at some point basically got busted for something and are butthurt and mad at the cops for, you want them to believe their lying eyes. Yeah, that's it. They get, I guess one of the biggest ones, and I mean there are a lot of different examples, but one of the biggest ones is the whole marijuana thing, right? Because some places, especially now, are starting to legalize pot and all that. They get busted for possession of marijuana, and they know that where they are at, it's still illegal. So, like, instead of saying, yeah, I got busted, they caught me, I gotta, gotta do what I gotta do, sorry, I got caught. No, they turn it into this whole vendetta against the horrible, evil cops. How dare they bust me for something as stupid as smoking pot? Or how dare they bust me for something as stupid as not having a driver's license? They're just bitter because they got busted. You do something wrong, you get busted, then you take your consequences like a man. Grow up. My Perry's crooked, dagnabbit. This way? No, this way? Oh boy. I'm back on this now. So, let's see. Oh man, I don't know. It's rough, and it looks like, and this is one of the things that I was saying about, like, what made me start getting into the, like, I've had this channel over 10 years now. All of a sudden, I'm picking on the sovereign citizens. Why did I decide to do that all of a sudden? It wasn't sudden. First of all, I've been aware of what they've been doing for quite a while now. But the quick and easy answer to that question, why them, is because 2020. This whole everything that's been going on since this whole pandemic thing, whatever, started. But there's a lot other stuff too, like like the Rittenhouse trial that's going on right now, and all this other stuff that has been happening in the last year or so. It just brought out the worst in everybody, in this whole movement, which seemed to me not that long ago just to be a handful of idiots, filming themselves being stupid and then posting it. Now is becoming like this big movement. You're getting these, an army of Moors with their guns getting stopped and thrown in prison. You got these idiots, running over people with their cars and going to prison for that. It's getting bigger. And that's why I feel like there needs to be more of us that are trying to expose that, this is. Wait, my theory is that police forces are not doing much to stop it. Too many cops stand there debating, don't get it. Well, this is the problem, and this actually goes back to something I was saying earlier. What they don't seem, the frauditors especially, but also the sovereigns, what they don't seem to understand is that the end result to what they're doing isn't going to be that we're going to become more free. We're going to become less free. Because right now, they go out of their way, particularly the frauditors. Like the travelers, they usually end up getting their windows smashed and getting busted anyway, right? So they get their comeuppance, but the frauditors almost never do, unless they get formally trespassed. And even then, the reason why they don't care, you get trespassed, what that means is they're going to drive you to the station, give you a piece of paper saying don't return to that place, and then send you home. They don't care about that. That's not a real bust. So the police do not have the authority, because they go out of their way not to cross that line into where what they're doing actually is something the cops can do something about. So, and that's all part of their scam. That's all part of the plan. That's all part of why they follow a script, because you have to, on one hand, not say anything that you can legitimately get arrested for, but at the same time, you want to follow the script to try and bait them into saying or doing something that you can sue them for, or get your case dismissed or whatever it is. So why do the cops put up with this stuff? Well, their hands are kind of tied, because the First Amendment does protect what they're doing. That's why they always do that. Does that make what they're doing okay? No. Just like yesterday, I used the example of, all right, take it easy, old school, thanks for coming. That goes back to the whole idea that I brought up yesterday of like cheating on your spouse. That is not technically illegal. You can't go to jail for doing it. But if you went by the same philosophy as the frauditors, then that means that you should cheat on your spouse in front of them to educate them that cheating isn't illegal. And they have no right to get mad at you for doing it because it's not illegal. Like, just because it's legal doesn't mean that you have to do it. Doesn't mean that you should do it. Doesn't make it a good idea. But that doesn't mean that the cops can actually stop you from doing it. You have to cross that line, to where you're, whatever, trespassing or whatever it is. And again, part of their whole scam and scheme is to not cross that line, although they often do. But yeah, the cops, but I do see so many videos where I get mad at the cops for being too patient with them and letting them push it too far before they do something. Like, it should be straightforward. You pull someone over and you ask them for their driver's license and they say, I'm not driving, I'm traveling. That phrase right there, boom, done. As soon as you hear someone say that, you know exactly what's going to happen. So skip all the BS and get them out of the car and lock them up, because they're driving without any license or insurance or registration or any of that. How do you know that? The second they say, I'm not driving, I'm traveling, you know who they are. You know what they're about. Take action based on that. Done. And with the frauditors, same thing. You see someone, I wonder if the cops are getting training on how to handle these guys. Yes, they have. There's actually a lot of actual police training videos that you can find on YouTube. The problem is, if you actually pay attention to what they're doing in these, we as a community are very deeply entrenched in this. We've seen hundreds of videos of this. We've read all kinds of laws and cases and stuff, and we know all about this. We essentially are experts on what these guys are doing. So we understand it on a deeper level than they do. Even when they're trained on it, when you watch their training videos, it's like, well, if these guys are doing this, you have to just let them do it and not do anything to stop them, because you don't want to, wait a minute, Some more sent toxic white powder to a courthouse. This is exactly what I'm talking about. These people are freaking dangerous. Anyway, oh Lord, that's depressing. I just read that. Oh. I gotta check that out later. Anyway, the training ultimately comes down to the police are trained to not engage. All right, if these people are yapping at them, to just let them yap. So in other words, you're going to spend half an hour listening to this guy BS you before you take action, because you're officially trained not to push it, not to engage, or blah, blah, blah. And it's not actually handling the situation at all. It's just you have to go out of your way to make sure you don't do any of the things that they are trying to bait you into doing. But that's why I say it shouldn't just be a matter of training the cops differently, but changing the actual policies on how to deal with these people. That's what I'm talking about. Because they've already tried changing the training, and obviously that isn't working. Change the actual, they're terribly dangerous. Even frauders distract a cop. Who knows what happens? And again, this always goes back to their narrative and it not matching the content. Like, it seems so insane to me, the idea that in a perfect world, in their ideal reality, a terrorist, I'm not supposed to say that word on YouTube, I guess, but whatever, can walk into a government building and film everything, doing reconnaissance to plant bombs later. And that should be perfectly acceptable and perfectly legal, and nobody should be even allowed to ask them why they're filming. Because I'm not here to plant a bomb. Therefore, you should make it legal for everyone to do anything all the time, because I'm not dangerous. But, like you said, something bad happening. And even they'll say in their videos, they'll bait the cops and bait the cops and bait the cops and ask for a supervisor and ask for an above guy, and all these cops will show up to the scene to deal with them. Then they'll say, "Hello, Kick, how you doing?" So yeah, and then when all these cops show up, they'll complain about, "Oh, there's all these cops just to deal with some idiot with the camera." And it's like, but you push the situation to the point where the cops get called. Like, it's your fault that there are 10 cops there. "Oh, how come you guys aren't dealing with real criminals?" Because they're dealing with you. If you weren't being a dumbass and specifically requesting supervisors and other cops to come, then, "Hey, can I have your ID?" "Sure, here it is." "Okay, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just filming some stuff." "Okay, thanks, have a nice day." Cop gone, problem solved. But no views for that, no money for that, no likes and subscribes for that. These guys drive me crazy. Am I back on? I don't see anybody in here anymore. Lost you? Yeah. Am I on? I don't know. Let's see if I'm back in. That says loading on here. Let's see. 24 frames per second. Alright, just like an old movie. Ah, yay, I'm back. Or maybe not. Now it's frozen again. Oh, yep. Okay, I'm back live. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get anybody back up in here, but I made it. I'm on my feet now. Stretch my legs a little bit. Now that I'm on my feet, I can do a little dance. Make a little love. Get down tonight. Get down tonight. Oh, sorry. Alright, somebody showed up. Who's in here? Let me turn my chat on. Oh, I think that Kit Kat is the oldest chocolate confectionery. That's very, very old comment. How come that's the first one I see pop up? Um, hmm, odd. Well, anyway, I got back on. I just had to reboot my system, which was fine. I kind of needed to take a break for a minute and take care of some business. um, so, thank you everybody again for coming. I guess there's nobody on here right now. It looks like apparently there's one person watching. Is it counting me? I'm watching myself, and so it counts it. Um, eh, whatever. We'll see if we could pick something up in the meantime. I'm just going to keep this going. I don't think anyone can hear me now anyway, but I'm just going to keep this going because, again, while my house is under construction, I can't go back there. There's nothing really else to do. Um, I just had an idea. I think I'm going to stop now and come back with my guitar. That might be fun. Yeah. I think I'm going to do that. Stop.